I am Anne. I was born in 1950. I am the fifth child of 8. And my first recollection was the home, of course, on N Street and 6th Avenue. Living by the cemetery, playing in the cemetery, playing mud pies with, I do remember Eric being there with mud pies. And I probably won't say why I remember. Anyway, we did mud pies and we would play in the cemetery a lot. And I remember hearing the 21 gun salute. My mother would tell me, if you hear that, that means that a serviceman has passed away. But we would go over there and play and have a good time, and I remember feeling secure. I wasn't afraid of, to be outside playing. The bus would come and stop there at the last stop for the 6th Avenue bus. And Dad would always complain because they left their engine on. So he just would, they just need to turn that off. So I think he approached him once and said, turn it off, right?
They started to park on N Street instead of 6th Avenue.
Yes.
Since not in front of our house, but on N Street in front of the cemetery.
So, I remember him doing that, and the home, and I had a good childhood growing up, and in that house particularly, walking to kindergarten and first grade a long way away.
Mm-hmm.
So from N Street to F Street, so that I did walk, and I don't remember, especially in first grade, I walked with anyone. I just walked home. So.
Brave mother, huh?
Brave mother.
Go.
So I did.
There you go, walk to school.
Walking to school, great. Yeah.
I did too. I remember walking home,
Oh, yeah.
or walking to and from.
To and
Yeah.
from. Mm-hmm.
We just had one car, so
That's right.
yeah.
I remember the cemetery too. Lots of fun, tap dancing. I'm very embarrassed to say this on Joseph and Hiram's
Well, where
grave.
else do you think we tap danced? They're the only flat
That's right.
3 by 6 feet
Slabs.
next door to one another.
Mm-hmm.
We tap danced there.
Mm-hmm. Especially Memorial Day, especially if we had kittens, we'd be sitting out on the grass,
Yeah.
giving the kittens away. As soon as the festivities were all over, we were going back over there to pick up the ribbons and
Make hula skirts.
hula skirts and get the
Miss
earwigs
America.
out and wash them and iron them. And,
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Wash them in the bathtub
Uh-huh.
and the earwigs.
Earwigs, yes.
Floating all over.
Mhm. Oh yeah. We thought we were quite smart dancing.
Mother would iron them.
Iron them.
Nancy would iron them.
But she could have taken over my job. But
Yeah.
I started out ironing
Well,
and making hoods.
do you remember the little lambs on the babies' graves?
Mm-hmm.
I would just sit there and lovingly pet these stone lambs.
Do you remember
Oh,
using some for horses?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Giddy up horse, let's go.
The lions got big. I mean, they were big. They're not
You know
small.
they're still there.
I
They
know.
are.
They are still there.
But they're
Everything's
tiny.
still there.
They're not as big as we remember, are they?
Yeah. Yep.
Loved B Street, and I had an upstairs bedroom. Every night I went to bed, I had to pray that the lions from Hogle Zoo wouldn't break loose, come up the hill and eat me. I did.
Boy,
I don't
sounds like we're related.
I'm scared to death.
You got the lions over the Capitol building too from B Street.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Oh,
you
yeah.
tell me, right? She didn't remember those.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Oh, yeah.
I remember my father's jewelry being on display
Yeah.
in the state capitol.
I do
I would
remember that.
Give anything I could to get some of his wooden jewelry.
That was
I
all
bet
over
it's
the
in the
place.
archives because they've saved a lot of stuff.
It was all over the place in the attic. It was just,
I know.
I mean,
We
it was,
played with it.
it was everywhere in the attic. the black, or the little cutout letters.
You have to
that'd
introduce
be
yourself.
nice to have a piece of that, wouldn't it?
Name-wise,
Oh, introductions.
introduction.
Oh, we just started talking.
Oh,
You're fine.
This is me, I'm Sally.
You're Sally, they don't
I'm
remember.
Ann.
Oh, I'm Tim, I'm the sixth of 8. How many of us are there? Yeah. I've lived a great life. I mean, I've had so many great blessings. I just, as I'm listening to you talk about B Street and N Street, 6th Avenue, every year that I go up to visit Mom and Dad and just reminisce over
You
the
go out and
house.
play too?
I look at the bar tile roof that's still on that house.
Yeah,
You
it
know that
is.
my dad put that bar
Yes, he did.
that bar
I
tile.
can verify everything he's saying.
You know, I asked Nancy about that, was it a good roof, and she said, no, it leaked, and I was surprised.
It
Did
still
you know
does.
that?
I didn't know that it leaked. It was probably because he put it on wrong.
No, because he never took any of the old roofing down.
Well, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
So anyway, talk about durability. He put it up probably in the mid-50s, right? Maybe towards, of course, we left in 59, so it couldn't have been much past that, but yeah, I remember B Street, I remember N Street, I remember when Eric got in the car and about killed himself when it rolled down the street and we rolled underneath it. And I remember that's when Dad, had a family prayer right then and there that he was spared, that he was saved from, he very well could have died when he started the car rolling, then it rolled back, he rolled out of it and could have rolled underneath him.
So do you remember someone saying, to find out who, saying that the car rolled and his legs were lifted up as
I
it
do.
rolled?
I do.
Yep,
I
That's
remember
familiar.
that.
So something,
Yeah, okay.
someone
I remember
intervened
that.
yes.
on
But
his behalf.
Mhm.
He was saved.
He
Yeah,
was.
he was spared and given. Speaking of being spared, I've been spared several times, and I should have been dead, 17, 18 years ago. Or I died in the emergency room, and they had to bring me back.
They came and they did.
And every day I thank the Lord.
So do we.
That I'm still here. And have, what a rich heritage. I mean, what great blessings we have. I mean, to grow up in such a marvelous family. I remember growing up as a child and the blessings of having such wonderful parents. I remember one time when, of course, we all had opportunities to go down and be with Dad when he was in the choir, and I'm sure you all had these opportunities as well when they were doing the Joy of Christmas album with New York Philharmonic and Leonard Bernstein, and how we got to sit in the. Did you get to sit in the seats up there? I remember sitting in the seats and watching Leonard Bernstein lead the choir and how honored he was, and and what a perfectionist he was. But I remember when they made that album, and I remember that album playing
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
after Christmas after Christmas in our home, the Joy of Christmas album. What a classic that was, and to be able to experience that with Dad, and I was so proud that my dad was in the choir,
Oh boy,
and
that was our pride.
wasn't that our pride and joy? And then when we'd have an opportunity to go down to priesthood meeting and sit in the choir seats, when the women weren't there and there was available seating for I guess some of the sons of the brethren or the men singers, and life has been good. I've been really, really blessed, and again, family, and to have wonderful children and grandchildren, you all know what that's like, and the blessing, I mean, there's nothing like it, and to watch your posterity grow and to grow up in the gospel. And some struggle. I know that Tim struggled a lot, but I know that when he died, he had finally come to the realization in his heart that it was he that was at fault, if you will. I don't want to blame anybody, but he was saying he stopped blaming everybody for his problems. He stopped thinking, man, if this hadn't have happened, if my parents hadn't gotten divorced, if this and that hadn't happened. But he finally said, he told me, he said, Dad, I've made my life, I've made my choices. And I just finally said, hallelujah, he's finally understanding and getting it. And I knew, I felt in my heart at that time, right when he died, that was his test in life, to know that the Lord told him that was your test and you can come home now. You just needed to figure it out, and now you can come home. And since then we've done his work, and he's hopefully enjoying the companionship of his grandparents on both sides, both the Nelsons and the Williams, and extended family from here to eternity. Anyway, I've spoken too long, too much.
That's beautiful.
But I'm so grateful for all of you. My life is good. I love living. The one thing I've focused on and one thing we can't do too much of is show gratitude. To always be grateful. And I've kind of taken that on as my mantra, my pledge or whatever, to always be grateful and to show gratitude to my Heavenly Father always. And to know that He's in charge, despite the ongoings of this terrible world. There's a lot of good here too. And it's a blessing to be here with all of you. I love you.
Okay, I have some postcards. Huh? Where am I? I'm Nancy. I have some postcards that were sent to my mother when she was in the LDS hospital after giving birth to me.
Wow.
My father, the postmark is in
August 11th?
Ogden. No, that's 17.
Oh, it's August 17th, so it was
Mm,
6
they
days later.
stay there.
yeah.
Saturday night, dear honey, I'm worried just like I was afraid I'd be. Please check carefully on the baby's condition and weight and ask the doctor if he would recommend a baby specialist. Jack.
Jack. How do you get Jack out of John?
Monday, dear honey, guess I better try to be a little cheerful. Hope you and Nancy are okay. I thought of you all night long, even when I'd snooze a little. Don't even attempt to take Nancy home with you unless she weighs over 6 pounds. Love, Jack. LDS Hospital. Monday, dearest Marjorie, I am really having the best of everything. Air-conditioned car and very good food on the train jerks a bit, however. He must have been with something with the choir. I don't know.
All the Union Pacific stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Ogden and LA. I don't get that.
Denver. Oh, Ogden, you're right.
It makes it a bit difficult to write. We had enough of some sweet Songfest last night. I have read this before. Surely is fun to travel with a professional singing group such as the choir. Something and love to you, Jack. She's still in the hospital. Monday. Dearest new mother. I can't even read that. Would
Well, he
try.
writes over the words, and
I
so you
know.
can't see it.
It's written on
The printed words.
I would try to give more something, even if it is just a little, a little goat milk.
Sounds like that.
Oh, anyway, good, something, proper diet, get the consultation of other doctors and see if I am not right. Do not hesitate to phone me if any new developments and so on. I can't read the rest of it. Room 510, LDS Hospital, Ogden. Why was he in Ogden? Yeah, but why would the choir be in Ogden? Wednesday, dearest Marge, just kind of sitting around waiting for our matinee rehearsal. Got your letter of Sunday this morning. Love, Jack. Huh? Her address has changed. Mrs. John T. Williams, care of 1120 East,
Grandma's house.
6 South.
She got out of the hospital finally.
Tuesday, dearest Marge, leaving this morning for Cataluna. Some fun. Love, Jack. Mrs. John T. Williams, room 510, LDS Hospital, Salt Lake City, Utah, or 1120 East, 6 South. And this is the end. Cedar City, 9/17/41. Dearest Marge, had a good night's rest here. Our all set for Arizona. Be good and careful, etc. Love, Jack. He's Jack all the time.
Cedar City, Utah.
Oh.
He's from Cedar City on this one.
This is where they lived. I know that we lived on 11th East, but I have no documentation whatsoever
And there it
until
is.
here.
563 East.
563
East.
East,
563 South, 11th East.
South 11th East. So there they are on 11th East, then you turn and go up to that first
Yeah.
1120 East, 6 South,
yeah.
Grandma.
Right.
Down and over a couple of houses. So there they were in a duplex.
Mhm.
So,
You didn't mention that these stamps were a whole cent.
oh yeah,
1 penny.
yeah.
Here's
They
the-
really did have
here's
penny postcards
this,
back
this is
then.
a penny postcard right here.
Penny postcard.
That's pretty
Can you
cool.
tell he was hysterical?
Oh, some of the letters he wrote me while I was on a mission are just
What were they?
absolutely. I should have brought some of those.
What, hysterical or goofy?
Yeah,
Or
just
both?
yes. And his writing got
More
progressive.
colorful.
Yeah, it was difficult to read sometimes. But
And I don't know where this came from, but it was in there with that, and it looks Russian. Hunduk Russian.
Is
Is
that
Russian?
currency?
Yes.
And how you can find out?
No?
Well, you can take a picture of it with a phone and ask Google.
Google
to tell you what
Lens,
it is.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, do that.
I don't know where that came from, but it was in the same drawer with the postcards.
and where did you find them? I mean, were they just
This
tucked
is-
away somewhere in your house?
Yeah, they were in my property. I have that little chest of drawers that's this big.
Mm-hmm.
Can you remember it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was
Cedar
in
breaks.
in the drawer in there.
Does
You
anybody?
never looked at them?
Well, I have, but not for 100 years.
Okay, all right.
At least.
At least. So I thought I'd bring them and let you see
Does
them.
anybody have any recordings of mom or dad?
Yeah. Yes,
vocal.
yes.
Singing?
Want me to email to you? Not singing, no, talking.
Well-
Oh, talking.
But I
they-
admitted they are singing,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, they sent me, during my mission, they would send me tapes, and I,
Singing?
for the life of me, cannot find them
Oh.
anywhere. I would just love to hear his voice.
Oh.
Yeah, it's neat.
No,
I've
kidding.
got it, Tim. Give me an email, I'll email it to you.
Yeah,
They sang the most beautiful duets.
Didn't they though?
Oh,
I don't have.
See,
any
that's what I
memory.
wanted to grow up to be, singing with my husband.
me
But
too.
he doesn't sing.
But neither does Don. But he's perfect in every other thing. Totally perfect.
Anyway, I just love to hear his voice.
Does anybody here know how old I am?
Yes.
100, you just said so.
I really am 80.
You made it.
Really, truly, I'm 80.
You're 11 years
Thought you
older than I
had.
am.
Yeah, you made the big 8.
I did.
Way to go.
No, I'm in the 80s.
That's awesome.
I think
guess-
so.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with my age.
You made it to 80. You hear that?
I don't think my parents did, but they.
No, they didn't.
No,
No, they didn't make
mother
it.
was 72
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and dad was
75.
75.
He would have been 76 on his birthday.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody knows where the tape went that he and his dad sang a duet in church, and your mom had it, and she said it was the most beautiful duet she'd ever heard. And I heard it once, but I can't remember now the hymn that they sang, but I would really like to find that tape, because I'd like to hear it.
It's that one. I don't know what
This
this
one?
is. Anyone? Figured that out. That's what it was, and it was a solo, and it was a duet, and I know where it was sung, and I had the recording somewhere among like 200 tapes.
Really?
Yeah, it was sung at Karen's ward because Karen's dad invited. He had the sacrament meeting. He invited my wards to come down and sing for them. And Dad sang. Dad and Sherman sang it. Is this correct? Does this sound
Why
right
was
to you?
this in my program?
And they sang that song.
Whole bunch. That's one of the
Figure out
Drew
what that
Keep
song
ones,
is.
Drew Keep
Yes.
I know it's a
or
classic.
whatever.
They do have a music thing in Google. I don't know if it'll take whistling, but they take
25 years of
tunes.
service.
Okay.
So we might
I'll
be
give
able
it
to
a
figure
try.
it out.
Thank you, Mikey. Yes, and thank you.
It's okay.
Whoever
Don't
you
worry.
That
are
I've
over
never
there.
seen.
One of them.
So am I up?
Yep,
You know
you're
that
up.
little chest of drawers, Sally, like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where I found it. And that's where I got all of those postcards. Because I haven't looked in there for 100 years.
Jewel Companies, Inc. to John T. Williams II.
Oh, God. Nice, Dad.
What's that?
Yeah, it's really hard to read.
Okay, Ben, you're up.
Yours
Okay.
are a little better.
Glasses.
That's why I bring mine.
I'm Ben. I'm the youngest of 8. Boy, what a privileged position. I'll tell you that right now. I know exactly what I got. I got the love of everyone in that house. Everyone loved me. And I knew it then, and I know it now. Period. And what a huge blessing. Mom and I were a lot alike. We had similar personalities, so she could. I know that. I wasn't that easy per se, but we got along, and she could confide in me and tell me things, and she would. It was nice because she taught me to. I don't know what other people's lives were like because I didn't live your life. You know, I don't know what it was like for you to be with Mom, but I know what it was like for me to be with her.
Blessing.
And for me to be with Mom, she would teach me to clean, she would teach me to dust, to do the dishes, to do a good job, to do things thoroughly. I was taught, as I'm sure we all were, at a very early age about tithing. Oh, thank heaven. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you for teaching me about tithing. And I would keep my tithing in there, in Mom's chest of drawers, like the second or third drawer down, and it was in being in a little box and keep record. pay my tithing at a very young age. My youngest memory, a lot of times I think my youngest memory is Sister Bennett when I was about 2 years old and dashing out there to give her a kiss. And I do remember that, but then I forget about, sometimes, no, I don't question this memory because it is so vivid and so real, and because the feelings associated with this particular memory are so deep. But I do remember being held and cuddled by both of my parents when I was a baby. I remember that. And I could feel, the reason I remember it is the love and adoration. It was so palpable, so solid, so real. So I'm very blessed. And I'd forgotten to, I don't often think of that one. I think of Sister Bennett as my earliest memory, but it's not. That is. And I don't remember anything else about Sixth Ave. Nothing. I think maybe subliminal memories that kind of just hang in the background and influence me, but I don't really have solid memories of the house, anything, nothing. It's gone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what some of the other questions were, or identifiers. I think you said something about a favorite prophet, President Russell M. Nelson. And it's not just because he's the current one, but it's because of his push for personal revelation. What else can you say? I know how important that is. We need to be constantly in tune with the Holy Ghost. We need to be living our lives and in the scriptures and doing the things that are needed to give us the constant companionship of the Holy Ghost. Elder Bednar gave a quote, something to the fact that says, the Latter-day Saints, the saints often talk of having the Spirit to be with them as some wonderful occasional event. You're forgetting that the covenant actually says that His Spirit may always be with us. Always. That is a possibility and the most lofty goal you can have. Do not offend the Spirit. Invite Him always. And for President Nelson's, especially his April 2018 talk on Revelation for the Church, Revelation for Our Lives, I've probably listened to that talk realistically 30 to 40 times. Underlined it to death, noted it to death. We must have personal revelation. It will be the single greatest enhancement of your life you could possibly make. And I have no doubt that everyone in this room is very close to that anyway. But just continue. Never offend the Spirit. Never. And I am very grateful. I cannot begin to express it all, how much I am to have the relationship I had with all of you. Nancy and Sherman were older. I didn't know you or interact with you as much. The younger the kids got, the more, I remember some of the pictures, one of the pictures that I remember the most, that I loved is, Anne is, I think we're in front of the fireplace. It's Christmas time maybe. And Anne has her arms around Eric and me. And we are sitting there, I think Indian style, in our skivvies, and Anne is holding us. And do you remember the picture?
I remember the picture.
Do you actually remember the event, or just the picture?
Just
You weren't in your skivvy.
No, she was.
Okay, just checking.
I was appropriately dressed.
And this is the time that I had sent Mike made that recording, that teaser of this event, and sent it out. He interviewed me for 3 minutes or so. And now I need to know if this memory is correct, because I didn't experience it. I was only told it secondhand, and it involves you, Nancy. And it seems as though I remember Eric telling me that you and he alone, he took you over to the Capitol building and showed him around. Did that happen? Do you remember it?
That is not necessarily familiar, but it's very typical.
It was something that you would do.
Very typical, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
I could show him his dad's box, and of course it's not there anymore, but I could show him.
Eric, I knew Eric very well because of our closeness, proximity, and our age. Eric loved everyone, but he
was troubled.
But he loved you. He had immense respect for you and love for you. And it's not so much that he vocalized it, I could sense it, see it,
Oh, okay.
and I knew it. And when he told that story to me of you taking him to the Capitol building, it was the highlight of his mortal existence. So he had left his typical world, gone to another planet to be with his sister Nancy, and lived an alternate life at the Capitol building.
That was fun. That was fun. I went over there from N Street, not from V Street, from N Street,
To the Capitol.
from N Street.
Long walk.
Yes, but that was the easy part. The hard part was down
Down
to
through Memory Grove.
up the other side. That was the easy part, going from N Street to B Street, A.
From that, and I also,
Whatever.
since Eric's not here, I can represent him with this too. Eric, there was the time when you started having children when Eric was about 10, because I was 8. And we were both thrilled to be uncles, both of us. We knew it. It was neat. It was neat stuff.
I didn't know that.
And there was a time before Eric became decimated by substance abuse that I watched him with your 2 oldest daughters. He adored them. He
Really?
adored you, Stephanie. And Catherine, your 3 oldest daughters, your 3 daughters, yeah, oldest, yeah. Because it was at that time, I watched him play with you. I watched his gentleness, him getting down onto the ground, him looking in their faces, saying funny things to them, evoking laughter from them.
Oh, wow, I wish I'd witnessed that.
Eric adored you. He loved you, Stephanie. And he loved Catherine. He loved Merlin with all his heart, like you were his own daughters. I'm glad I got to see that.
No kidding. I wish I had.
And he,
I'm surprised I trusted him.
it was just at the house, you know, we were there, Eric and I were there.
Just
You just
there.
come down to hang out. It wasn't, you know, you came down all the time, which was wonderful. And Eric, completely, absolutely loved you, respected you, everything. And he did. I saw it, and I'm glad I saw it, and I'm glad I've lived all these years to be able to tell you about it.
I'm glad too, because I didn't know it. Because he was
Hard.
scary.
I know. It was, there was a while there that he grew up and mellowed out, and he was normal and had substance abuse and normal and substance abuse. But he did become normal, honey. And
I
Nancy.
remember he did himself in. Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
Okay, all right. So I knew somebody who had, because I asked Sherman, what do they bury them in? A shroud. I said, what's a shroud? It's like a blanket, they wrap them up in it. Absolutely not. I went to her house, found out if she had a white jumpsuit to spare, underpants, socks.
Thank you.
So we went to the we went to the mortuary and said, put him in this jumpsuit and this underwear, and I kept the socks. So we went to the viewing and so on, and we could see him, the bottom half. I don't know what his head looked like.
It was pretty.
I don't know if it was, so, they can open the bottom half. So they opened the bottom half. I have 2 socks. I give one to Cindy and one to Cindy's mother. I said, because I was going to do it. And I saw them, I thought, no. They were closer to Cindy, and he was closer to Cindy and her mother. So I asked them, would you like to put on one sock? Would you like? Yes. So Cindy put on one sock, and her mother put on the other sock.
I remember you holding his hand.
I did.
Yes, I remember that vividly.
Oh yeah, and I remember Nancy, you saying, I want that open. I want to see his hands.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
got that through Sherman. I said, no, I'm going to see him.
Right.
And I want him in this jumpsuit. He was. He was in the jumpsuit. They opened the bottom half. I could see him. I could know that's my brother's hands. That's his feet. And then I passed the socks out to Cindy and her mom. I wasn't that close to him, but they were.
Oh,
So I thought they should be able to do something for him now.
Yeah.
So they each put a sock on.
So, I just want to assure all of you that Eric grew up. And I knew him when he was grown up. And he was very, very sweet. At the same time, there was the substance abuse, which was very constant.
So,
But his heart was enormous. He grew up of whatever he was as a child. That is not Eric. Eric is a grown, mature man who loves his family, who adored and treated angelically your daughters. This you must know.
well, I wanted him buried in clothing, not in a shroud. Oh, he's going to have on clothes. And so we got there, and he was in the jumpsuit. I assumed he had on the underwear, but
Sure they
they're
did.
not bad people.
No.
And the socks I gave to you. Whatever.
As you bring that up, it is vivid to me. I remember everything you've told me. I remember you saying those things to me, and yes. Thank you. Thank you for seeing to it.
Well, I wouldn't have it. I was practically thrown a fit.
Inasmuch as his parents were gone, you were next in line. And thank you with all of my heart.
Well, who paid for it? I didn't.
I don't know.
Don't look at me.
Who paid for it?
We don't know.
Paid for what?
Eric's
Eric.
funeral.
Eric's coffin. Eric's.
We did.
Okay. There you go.
Now, I want to qualify that.
Okay, dear.
We cashed in Eric's inheritance
Toys
The
or
silver
something.
man.
and then
Oh.
paid for the funeral. And then years later, who helped pay for the headstone?
All
Or
of
was
us.
it
All of us.
All of us.
Okay,
All
so
of us
then
were
we
for
And then the
that.
headstone.
did the headstone.
Oh, I'd forgotten that. I'm glad you're here. But we did. I remember now. But see how it scrapes up a memory that you don't know you've had, but he remembers.
Well, it's nice somebody does. Then it pops back in. But I remember that, I was screaming inside of myself. You're putting him in a shroud, he's wearing clothes.
Anyway,
We got
So-
clothes for him.
what's that? Okay,
think we'll-
guess,
I'd say Dad Sherman.
Sherman.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Say it, memory.
Sherman here. I got my my grandma on it. I was named after him. Sherman Allen. Then, I guess my first my earliest memory was living close to the Jordan River.
Oh, I forgot that one. Yes, we did.
Down by the fair park. That
Do you
house.
know what? Now it's covered. It's not there anymore.
Yeah,
That's
that was
underground.
when they lived in that little house.
You're talking about the river?
It's covered. I've been over there at the same place and it's not there anymore. I want to go there again, so don't put me in it. Oh, it's been covered.
Was that Fairfax? Is that
Colfax.
Colfax, yeah.
Maybe.
I knew it was something fax,
Anyway,
or Colfax.
Oh, that was fun to get minnows out of the river. And maybe-
fishing there with silver strainers.
Mhm. Get a strainer for Mother and scoop it up and you'd have creatures in there in the bottle and
You didn't eat them, huh?
no, we just watched them. Just played with them.
I don't remember much after that. Until we moved in 48 up to N Street,
And I know why we left.
6th Avenue.
The river scared my mom. She got it. And I've driven down there and it's covered. I'm sure that it's under the ground, because it still runs when you get over there.
Yeah.
Is that it, Dad, or did you want to say anything else?
I think that's the
The
short.
next memory was 6th Avenue and N Street.
Mhm.
Uh,
6th Avenue Street, and guess what? We still played in the river. Remember when it would rain and go gushing down the
gutter.
gutter of the cemetery? We'd go over and put our arms in it and
That
make
was
a
awesome, I
dam.
remember that.
Oh, yeah,
I had fun.
make the dam
Make a
and play with the
dam
water.
and then let it go and
There's nothing like that.
nothing like that. That was so fun.
You can't keep kids away from water. One way or
That was a
another.
little safer than the Jordan River.
Mom was afraid that you guys were gonna drown, is that what the deal was?
I have no idea. I'm only assuming that it
That's all
was
they can do to save.
scary for her because we played there all the time. That was our favorite place. We'd bring home baby frogs. We'd bring home baby fish. We'd have them in a jar and we'd put them in a bigger jar. They'd be on the back porch inside.
I lived in City Creek Canyon growing up, on the river. And some Memory Grove, but that was the
Oh
best,
yeah.
that was the best place in the world to play.
Oh, I agree with that one too. I agree with that one too. However, I was 17 or 18 when we moved to B Street. So
And I was 8,
I wasn't that playful. I didn't want to play in it
when I
anymore.
was actually 7 when we moved, but
All right.
So that's, we, as 4 years old, when we moved to 6th Avenue.
Yeah. And I'd still go over to the state capitol.
But that was fun to walk around in there.
It's fun to see my dad's display.
And
I
I
want
loved
to
it.
know where it is. I bet it's archived somewhere. I'd sure like to get it.
It was still there in the late 60s. I saw it too.
Good.
Why was it on display there?
He was invited, or maybe he offered, because
Local artists, maybe.
they were asking for donations and things to put in the state capitol. And he had his jewelry in there.
And remind me again what he made his jewelry out of.
Cedar
Cedar wood.
wood. All cedar.
That's why we had a jigsaw at the house. Is that what we used?
Anybody end up with the jigsaw?
No. We had
Two
two.
jigsaws.
I got,
Anybody end up with either one? You got one?
yes,
Good
I
for
don't
you.
have it anymore. I don't know what happened to it.
And it was just a little, it was small.
Oh,
And it just,
yeah.
and it just had a
It was
little,
maybe,
little
maybe
table
9
about
by
this
9.
big. And it just
Yeah,
had a little
the
blade that
cutting
shook.
area was about this big.
We used to make our pinewood derbies on that too.
See, you know the jigsaw.
And then we had the sanding belt.
Yes, that's the big deal.
Had some killer pinewood derbies out of that.
Oh. My, the things I made on it. I made dollhouse furniture. I made I have at home in her house a table I made and chairs. I think the chair's broken, but anyway, I have a table I made and the chairs I made. And they're still in it. That's all I have, but I made it on the jigsaw. I cut out pieces. I knew how to.
You can make puzzles.
No, I hate puzzles.
I also like going over to the Capitol and seeing the big race car, the Mormon Meteor.
Oh,
Remember
yes.
that?
I wonder if they're archived, my dad's things. And if they'd give them to
I'll
us.
send a letter to Governor Cox and
They
have him.
have said, they've done a report on it recently saying how many things are there, and some of the stuff has been moved down to the train station.
Okay.
So they said they have thousands.
Oh,
and
sure,
thousands.
that's true, because they don't keep them.
No,
They change the displays all the time.
But they don't throw them away either.
No, I didn't think so. I thought they'd be saved. Yeah. I'd love to get Dad's. Your mother pin the state of Utah?
I don't remember the state of
Oh.
Utah.
He made a pin about this big, the state of Utah. And Mother put on seagulls and seagull lilies. And then it was lacquered.
She's quite the little artist.
Did they
Gee.
sew them?
She used to practice on the black and white pictures.
Oh,
She did.
yeah, I believe that. But, yeah. I wish I had some. I made some myself. I didn't dip them in lacquer or anything, but I cut things out. I know what I cut out. I cut out shapes of missions where my kiddos are.
There you go.
California and I hung them on the tree. And I put designs around the edge, like those little lights, and a dot of lights, and a squiggle of plug things, whatever, wires that held them together. And I don't know where they are.
Was she using cedar?
Was I? No,
Dead. Oh.
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Just a block of wood.
I'd go to Home Depot and get something this flat to make flat
Some pine or something.
something, yeah. Yeah. I'd like to use cedar, but I don't know where to get it. But I don't have a saw anymore, so there.
Well, you can certainly fix that. There's,
Can't make anything.
you can get one. There was one at the DI the other day I should have bought. I mean,
Tim!
I can buy them at Lowe's, but that's not
Tim!
the same thing.
No!
It's
Tim at the
it's the
DI.
hunt. It's finding out, you know, it's the hunt. See, when you find stuff like this, you know, that's the adrenaline rush right there.
Yeah, I get it.
It's
Yeah.
getting the-
Yeah, I can see the dishes,
That's right.
the bowls, I can see it all.
I
Yeah.
don't have
And
that.
see the,
Hey! Don't you remember Jewel T?
Of course.
You got stuff as a bonus?
well, these were the,
Is that Jewel T pattern?
yes.
I thought
This-
so.
See, I found this at the DI. I wanted to have Sally look at it. She and Kirk know this pattern better than I do. Because I've given them some of the stuff I found, and she gives me Pyrex back, you know, back and forth. And I found this and I said, what is it? Because I thought it was a pie thing, but I couldn't open it. Well, Kirk just told me it can open, so there you go. You put your cake in there.
Wow.
That's Mary Dunbar.
Yeah, Mary
Yes.
Dunbar,
Dunbar.
that was the trademark.
Well,
Yeah.
Mary Dunbar came later.
Okay.
That was that was in the later part. Your dad was still working for Jewel T when Mary Dunbar
Dunbar.
came into. In fact, I'm
Yeah,
not sure if
it
this
doesn't-
one is or not.
There's nothing on it
Okay, the later ones were embossed.
with Mary Dunbar.
So this is an earlier one.
Ooh.
So, yeah, we've got a book on all the.
It was
Jewel
made
T
by,
stuff.
the pottery was made by Hall.
Right.
Hall is the manufacturer, and then Westinghouse was
They made some of the other things.
Yes.
tied in, Westinghouse was tied into it.
They
And
did
then-
the percolate.
Yeah, and then Mary Dunbar, Jewel T. I don't know how, whether they bought
You should
the
make-
rights or whatever to put their name on it. That was their Betty Crocker, if you will. Mary Dunbar was Jewel T's Betty Crocker
Yep,
type
yep,
thing.
yep.
And so if you saw Mary Dunbar in anything, you knew it was a Jewel T
Wow.
product.
You know how many times we stood in the kitchen washing these dishes and washing them and washing them?
And then-
Especially the bowls. The mother would do the scalloped potatoes
Oh, yes.
And then the,
in. And that would become really crusted. You had to
Oh,
work
yeah.
all day to get that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
out.
that was very,
then the green plates with the, what was that, the old, what were they called?
Curiosity shell.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, I've got
And
some
that's,
of that
I've got some of
still.
that too.
Tim, I need to go to your house and have a tour.
Oh my heavens. I've
I'd
got,
be there all day.
just ask Ann and Jess, there's a lot there, right?
Yes, there is. It's very interesting.
We need to open a museum and I'll bring all my stuff over. I'll be done with it, cause, you know,
I've
pass
got-
it on to somebody.
Yeah, I've got two rooms, actually three, the kitchen's full of it too.
I love it, Tim. I
And
love it.
I've got more Pyrex than
Pyrex.
Pyrex.
That he manufactures.
Okay.
But that's what makes it fun, is just a hunt. Just going out and trying to find it. That's when you find something, it's an adrenaline rush. Look when I saw this. Like when I saw this the other day, I said, I've never seen that, but I know the pattern. I know it's the autumn leaf.
Well, Amy has some questions.
Oh, let's go ahead.
I was just
Let's
so
move
there's
this along.
well, there's questions for some individual people, and then there's some for everyone. So I'll do a couple individual ones real quick because I want to know the answers. So this says it's for Ann and Nancy. And do you remember the song that you sang at Melinda's house when they came to visit? It was about a girl walking down the street with a big hat.
As I was walking down the street, thinking of the weather, I met a girl with glossy curls beneath the rooster's feather. She looked at me, I looked at her, it made my heart pit-pat. And then she turned to go, she said, how do you like my hat? Oh, I think it's gay and pretty too, they go well together. Those glossy curls and the hat beneath the rooster's feather.
That's funny.
And I found that song, and the name of the song is The Rooster's Feather. And I thought it was, I was walking, no.
The rooster's feather.
I actually
It's
found
a
it.
piece of paper?
Well,
Probably
it
on
came
YouTube.
on, it came on my phone, and so
Oh,
I had
okay.
to write it down
Okay,
because
okay.
not a piece of
I thought
paper.
you meant you found it at a.
Oh, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
She's got it memorized, she can play it.
Oh, Ann played it all the time when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I do.
It says that there's a family story about it. Is there a family story about that song?
Well,
About
Sally
what?
and I performed it
Okay.
at a ward function at Ensign Ward.
You two.
They have some kind of talent show.
Mhm.
And
Did
Sally,
Mother play the piano?
Mother played the piano.
That's what I
Sally
thought.
dressed up as the
Gentlemen?
suitor gentleman, and I was dancing around doing it as I was walking down the street thinking of him.
I can see that.
And she was the gentleman.
See that. I can see
And
it.
Mother played the accompaniment, which is just,
Oh.
Now, am I right or wrong, did that come from Grandma Allred? Did that come from her home?
Yes.
Or do
I
you-
would think
Yes,
so. I
yes.
would think so.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
That wasn't
'Cause it's the
Grandma
20s.
Williams' thing.
it's 20s.
yeah, it came from Grandma.
That's a good segue into another question. It's your favorite memory of your grandparents, and it has both George and Catherine and Sherman and Eva.
What was the chocolate chip cookies from Grandma? Allred.
The Christmas tree, the parties, the Santa
And
Claus.
those hot lights.
The presents
Don't touch the lights on the
upstairs.
Yes. You can't get the presents, you gotta
The
wait.
cereal bowls that she had with the little Indians on them,
Mm-hmm.
and she always had us have a bowl of cereal before we went to bed. So,
Yeah.
and she
So
brought
which
out
grandma was that?
Allred,
Grandma Allred?
And then the cookie jar.
the cookie
Oh,
jar,
There's a picture of it in our
Red-headed, what is
Yeah.
it?
Red Riding
Red
Hood.
Riding
Little Red
Hood.
Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Those are
Sally.
fortune.
We looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and we finally found
Oh,
one that,
bless you.
so we have a Red Riding Hood,
Cookie jar.
just a reminder.
There's different styles of it
They're
too.
different
I know
It's
ones,
Hall.
yes.
I know
It's
that.
another Hall ceramic whatever
Mhm.
dish, but Hall made those, and you find one today that's the age of Grandma's, and it's several $100s.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Sydney,
Easy.
She had it.
Sydney had it,
Uh-huh.
We
At her
don't know
home,
where it is now.
but I've tried to find Sydney and I cannot find her. She's in a care center somewhere.
I had I must have been about 5 years old,
There it is.
maybe 6, and it was my birthday. I should look it up on a calendar. Well, that wouldn't tell me anyway. But anyway, I was walking home from
Nancy.
Ensign Elementary,
6th Ave or B Street.
B Street. Yeah, and Grandma and Grandpa Williams, or Allred, drove up in their magnificent red. What was that? That was a Chrysler or a Dodge. What was that red car again?
Oh, that was a '65 Plymouth.
Yes?
Oh, what was that? But it was a limited edition.
So, I
It was.
was
sweet.
young. I don't know how old I was, but they drove up.
This was Bill, right?
No, this is Grandma and Grandpa Allred.
Okay.
Well, it had the red car. Was Bill, wasn't it?
He had the Hearst. He had the Chrysler 300 Hearst.
Okay, that's what it was. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm walking home between B and C Street, walking westbound, and up pulls this magnificent car next to me and Grandma, Ben, and Grandpa, Ben, come on, get in the car, let's give you a ride home. What a heavenly event. I mean, it, you know, lasted less than a minute,
Of course.
but of course I'm in this car.
I think it was a DeSoto,
Okay.
the red DeSoto with the big fins in the back.
It was a big car. And I am the President of the United States in this car right now. This was, what a thrill. But Grandma always made birthday cakes for us younger kids. I'm sure she did for you too.
Oh, yes.
It was-
And my children.
Yeah, it was,
She did my children.
she was insistent on making
Oh,
these
yeah.
cakes.
Yeah.
And I have, I know that I was too young to have ever been in the car other than that with Grandpa. And I know that it's common lore that Grandpa was impatient in traffic and would use colorful language.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So, but my memory of Grandpa is that I got him at the very end of his life, you know, the last few years, because he died the day you got sealed.
Died
He had a
in
heart attack
1970.
the day you got sealed, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The 13th November, 1970.
Wow. And so, but I saw Grandpa basically at the last few years of his life, and he was just absolutely the typical Grandpa to me, just angelic. I had interaction with him, not really with Grandpa Williams, he was too far gone. And Grandma Williams, of course, she was full of energy till the end of her life, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her and the 7-Up and going over there and having Alka-Seltzer because I had always overeaten and felt sick. Hey, have an Alka-Seltzer. Go and lay down on Aunt Sarah's bed for a few minutes. All right, I feel fine. Let's go. You know, what else we got out here tonight?
Alka-Seltzer?
Yes.
Do you know what? When I had a tummy ache, she gave me Coke syrup.
No,
Oh, that's wow.
Grandma Williams.
Cool.
she gave me paregoric.
Oh, nasty.
Mother
No.
gave me
Oh,
paregoric.
I have to add
He
this.
drank
I
it.
was part of that family.
This is one of my favorite things of my whole life. Directly involves you. I thought this was hilarious because all my young life, you know, Dad had used the threat that his mother used. I'll stick a needle through your tongue. And Dad said, yeah, my mom, she stuck a needle through my tongue whenever I swore. And I thought, you know, okay. And I bought it. But like, I believed him. Why wouldn't I believe him? You know, I'm a little kid. Okay, Grandma stuck a needle through his tongue when he swore. And so Dad would use that. I mean, I never felt genuinely threatened. I knew there was just something I knew about my dad and about the family. I never felt threatened that a needle would pierce my tongue. I knew that wasn't going to happen deep in my heart. So I never felt threatened. But I just felt it was a pretty serious, you know, enforcement tool. Don't swear. So I was having a conversation when I was probably past 30 with Nancy. I don't know when it was. I don't know if I was married or not. But I brought up the needle through your tongue. And she looks at me and says, you believed that? And I immediately started laughing because it's so preposterous.
Yeah.
But I believed it, and up until that moment, I believed it, Nancy.
It was a total hyperbole.
Yes, it was.
How many of you guys remember the day that we took your dad's driver's license?
Oh,
Remember what happened?
no, I wasn't with you.
Mr. Custer Blue Street.
He came home with the sign and the chain from the parking lot where the choir members parked. We decided, okay,
That's it.
that's it.
He just
Can't
drove right
drive
to the sign,
anymore.
huh?
Brought it home. Do you have some ice?
It was right there on the front of the car.
Was I didn't even know that. Wow, wow, did you know that? Me neither. Thank you, Kirk.
How many questions do we have here? We get the
I mean, some of them are repetitive. They're not all. I'm picking and choosing, but
We could have a second session.
we haven't really talked about Tom yet, and he's got a few questions. So,
Okay.
one is why the difference between Tom and John, why he's called both. And then some about polio. Oh, what kind of treatment did he receive for polio? And any other memories you wanted to talk about, Tom?
You know more about that than anybody probably.
I remember he was in the county hospital, I think it was on State Street, down south forever, like maybe 17.
Okay.
21st.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. See, it's way down there.
That was what happened.
And I remember being outside and looking at things through the window, and getting to see him. I remember sneaking inside for a minute, getting to see him and running back outside. But that was awful. That was awful, but he was fine.
Was he in an iron lung for a while, or?
No.
My recollection, but when you went in that, I think it's Salt Lake County Hospital, but it doesn't
On 21st
exist.
South.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And I think I got in there for a very, very brief moment, but I thought it was horrible.
It's 21st Avenue,
I
State
thought it was
Street.
horrible. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
So as far as him recovering, how long did it take him to recover? Was it?
It didn't seem very long, but
I
I
know
know
that
Mother worked with him.
he was, I never knew.
Right,
I never, cause
yeah.
when I associated with Tom, you know, everything was normal,
Right.
you know, and, so I never knew. Sally told me later that, he had polio. He was not in our never had,
No.
never was that advanced, but
Never an Iron Lung.
we used to, I missed the Corvette.
Well, you missed a lot.
I missed that, but I was there for the SS,
Sweet ride.
and I helped him work on that, and we did a few things to make sure it wouldn't blow up, because that had a big block engine in it that had some,
It was the 396
yeah, it
turbo.
was the 396, and it
Boys
had,
know those things.
we had to be careful with the valve springs, so
I replaced a few valve springs on that.
yeah, we did.
I remember driving along 11th Avenue, getting it so fast that it burned the brakes out and I couldn't stop. Going down E Street, you know, you needed to stop at E Street, you hit the brakes and you just keep on going because the brakes were too hot. And they weren't the disc, they were the drums, and so the
They were
drums just get
drum
bigger and bigger and bigger and less.
So I drove his car.
But yeah, that was a sweet ride, that 396.
Tom.
He had some great cars.
He did.
He was, I mean, I could see, you know, as when he was younger, I got the stories of his orneriness, you know, yeah. And
You
I,
could change that word.
mean, what?
Evil, wicked.
Okay.
He was fun though.
But he, by the time I really
Wasn't
knew
my view.
him, he was growing up and mellowing out. And my favorite memory, absolutely, Tom shaped the rest of my life in less than 5 minutes. An extremely act of kindness to me one night when I was a child. And I understood exactly what he was telling me, and I have used his method with my children and with other people countless times. So I'm struggling to go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep, and I'm laying there in bed. I'm little, 5, 6, whatever. Just, I don't want to pee here. Let me out of bed. And so Tom was, who was his old girlfriend? What was her name? One with dark hair. What the heck was her name? Anyway, he was with her. He was getting ready to go on a date with her. Her name is on the tip of my tongue, and I can see her picture. I can see what she looks like. And she's there, and he's getting ready to go out with her. And I'm struggling in bed to go to sleep. I don't want to be there. And Mom says, Tom, will you go in and talk to him? And so he comes in and he says, this is Tom, and I have adopted his method. Here he goes. He says, so, yeah, Mom tells me I have a hard time going to sleep. I said, yeah, I am. I don't like this. I don't want to be in bed. He says, yeah, I know. I've been there too. I remember that. I remember doing exactly what you're doing. But you know what I used to do? I used to get one of my cars, and I would put it down in my bed with me, and I would play with it in bed. I soaked every word that he said like gospel. I leapt to my feet, grabbed a car, came up and put it in bed, and I says, yeah, this is really neat. I like this. It's just, and I don't know if I thanked him or if, a parting word, but I internalized what Tom did for me on that night. I internalized his get right there with you empathy and give you a solution. And Tom was always my hero, but he was especially my hero after that. And the time he came walking into the house wearing that .22 caliber nickel-plated revolver, Eric and I were in the kitchen. He comes waltzing through the living room, in through the dining room, and Eric and I see that gun strapped to his shoulder. Our eyes get this big. Tom was the coolest man on earth. He has fast cars and a shiny .22 gun. We thought Eric and I were just spellbound. Just, Tom is it. He is the coolest man on earth, and he's our brother, and he loves us. What else? I mean, that's Tom to Eric and me. A hero.
I had no idea.
A hero. He loved all of you, but he was old enough that he appreciated and loved Eric and me, and it was reciprocated. Eric and I almost worshipped Tom. So.
But he had such a good sense of humor too.
It was so.
He had a dry.
So funny.
It was so dry, and it was so. I've tried to emulate his sense of humor, and just because he was so.
And I have told my kids I have borrowed this from Tom. His act of when he vocalizes displeasure, disgust, when he goes, yeah. And I tell my kids, I'm just borrowing from Tom. I can't do it like he did, but this is Tom. Yeah. And
I don't even recognize it at all.
because I've told the story several times of when I was, again, we're in the kitchen and I'm young and we're eating dinner. We're all gathered at the table. Whoever was home, Sherman might have been. I don't know. But Tom is constantly saying something funny, and he says something just excruciatingly funny, and I got my mouth full of food, and I panic. I think, and I didn't know what to do, so I stood up. I ran down the hallway. I ran through Mom's room. I ran through the living room, swung open the front door, and spit out my food in the juniper bushes. And that's. Tom, he was seriously that funny. Seriously.
I don't know that side of him at all.
What's that?
I don't know that side of him
Oh,
at
wow.
all.
That's my brother.
I just know him as a bad boy.
Totally deadpan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
oh,
He
and
can tell you something without even cracking a smile and make you laugh.
he has this picture of him wearing a motorcycle helmet,
Yeah.
and he's got this expression on his face, and I can't stop laughing. If I look at that picture, I'm gone.
Yes.
I know where Tom got that. Here's a little history about the Williams. Let me find it again. Owen Garbett Williams, CBE, English founder and manager of Williams Formula One racing team, and one of the few non-Frenchmen to have made a Cavalier of France's legend Anyway,
It's
the
hard.
Williams owned a Formula One race team. So there's where Tom got it. Filtered down.
Okay, what other question we got there?
Oh, okay. I thought I was ready. Hold on. There was another one I was gonna go for. Oh, okay. This is a three-parter. Which sibling was the meanest? We have 2 more parts after that, but we got to do this one first.
I always felt sorry for Nancy because Mom would leave and she would have to
Yeah, when you
make
tried
those
to,
naughty boys move.
when you tried to put us in bed, I wasn't too happy about
I
that.
watched her move the clock ahead.
Absolutely. Get rid of them now.
Yeah, she was kind of mean when she had to babysit.
Oh, it was awful.
And now I look back on it and says, man, what a rotten job you got.
Yeah, we appreciate it, don't we?
Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, I wasn't a child. I was the assistant mother.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay, this will be easier. Who was the nicest?
Oh,
Okay.
big hand.
Sally wasn't home as much.
You know, all my sisters, but I didn't know Nancy as much, but these two, you were my controller. You were like my handler, you know, the modern day term.
Mother would always say, Ben's had a rough day. Will you please see what you can do with him? Sure.
And
I
then,
loved it. I loved being a big sister to you.
well, you were just, like I've said, I was, at my position, everybody was nice. Well, I only experienced you making me go to bed once when the sun was still up in the sky.
I had it.
And I'm in bed, I'm thinking, are you kidding me?
Kids, I can't stand tending them anymore.
That's the only mean thing I remember from you. I mean, Eric was a different
I believe
story.
it.
Eric was plenty mean to me.
Eric's rougher.
He was mean to me, but at the same time we were friends. It was a weird relationship.
Okay.
So, but you, yeah, you guys, and please, one memory with you. Down in the basement, you had those 2 windows up there. You had
Mhm,
that,
oh, yeah.
Yes, and I remember you put curtains on there, and I remember said, I thought that was so odd. Sally, why did you put curtains up there? And she said, so boys won't look at me. And I thought it was just so odd. I said, well, why would that bother her?
Well, you know, just walking right by those windows, you could look
You
straight,
could look straight down there.
They're just right there.
Anyway, I had to put that.
I remember you telling me that. Yes. Mother had me take that for a bedroom. And I thought, I'm not dressing in front of this.
I wondered who got it.
Yeah, it was you.
I couldn't remember.
And I can remember sleeping in your room, you know, having a sleepover in Sally's room.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In the basement of
B
Mhm.
Street.
B Street, yeah.
Where the sink was, just at the bottom of the stairs.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't want that in my room.
But you know, it's
But I think we did sleep, did we share there?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We
it's
shared the room that walks onto the patio.
Oh, but
Oh,
we,
that was my
the
bedroom.
basement bedroom, we didn't share.
No. No.
So you got my bedroom after I left.
Yeah, they couldn't get you out of the
So
house
when we
fast
were
enough.
sleeping in that bedroom, I'll tell you what,
She was moving out.
I had to, every night we do this. Now, there's the line down the middle of the bed.
When we went to Grandma Alred's.
No, I remember doing it in B Street too.
Okay.
But yes.
and you guys partitioned off the upstairs with sheets for a while.
That's where the sheets started.
What?
Sheets. Use sheets for walls. And sheet rock or something.
Do you remember that, Nancy, upstairs?
No, I didn't go upstairs. I didn't go upstairs, and I didn't go upstairs.
Good for you.
I hated
You have
it.
to
I
filter
thought,
your life.
I thought, how is anybody living upstairs? There are no walls. There's one closet, that big long closet, and there's a half bathroom. And so there's 2 doors upstairs. The entire thing is
It's all
open.
wide open.
Bunch of
Why
You
doors.
hung- That's
And,
it.
and a push button toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, we thought that was neat though.
Oh.
And you had that room, and you had Elvis posters
Mhm.
everywhere.
On N Street, we had
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 bedrooms,
Yeah.
and downstairs was
The dungeon.
room to sleep still.
For the trains.
So we get over there, and how many bedrooms do we have? 1, 2, 3 down the basement. We still have the same number of
But the
bedrooms.
big room upstairs,
Mhm.
Sally and I
Yeah.
shared a dormer for a while.
Yeah, those big, but there weren't bedrooms
No.
upstairs.
No.
And you had to pack your clothes when you were going for a bath. Let me tell you. And there was never a shower in that house, so I
Never.
always had to pretend to have a shower when I'd sleep over at Grandma Allred's. Do you remember her doing it with me?
The
We'd
show.
take the shower, we'd take the sprinkler and put it up in the tree, and then that cold water, I'm in the shower, don't you? I love showers. It wasn't until I got married, and we still didn't have a shower. Was there a shower in the basement? I think there was, but for the first months we lived in that house, still a tub. Now I finally got a shower next to my bedroom.
Is part 3 on this one?
Oh, I forgot. I got distracted. Okay, the last one was who's the funniest, but we kind of, I'm
Oh, that's Tom.
assuming it's Tom.
Hands down.
Yes.
Yeah, JT.
Yes. Oh,
He was,
It is a cracker.
he's,
Did you already talk
we
about
went to a concert one time, and he's, tell him this story, Jess.
with him?
Uh-huh. We'd been to the conference center and we came out and he pulls out these gloves because he has such small hands. He's like, these are my lady gloves. Gotta get them on. Pulls them on.
That sounds like him.
My lady gloves. And a rag for your tears?
Went to a movie with him and he grabs this huge stack of napkins. I'm like, what the? This is a rag for your tears.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And when Scott and I lived with him for 6 months,
Yeah, that's right.
it didn't matter. We'd open a can of those beans,
String beans.
the string beans,
Oh.
and he always got the stem. And Dad, what? He
Oh,
always.
It was that no noise man. Yeah.
yeah. I am so glad that Diane and Mark knew him well because they worked at Hallmark and he would come to pick up Joy. So they knew him. Diane knew him, I think, the best because she spent the most time there.
that's great.
But I loved it when Joy said, he loved you guys. He loved you. He loved coming to family things. So, yeah, that's Joy told us that.
Awesome. Y'all remember the Halloween party at my house where he came dressed up like a cheerleader?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You'll see the
I
film
just had
of
it
it.
flash.
And flash in his skirt.
The ladies doing church. Used to get hot.
That one I can see.
So there's
Okay. Yeah, so this one, it just says watching the ground go by with hole in the car, but I'm assuming.
Oh, that
You can
was
tell me
that
about
was a
that.
me only story.
Oh, that was you? It doesn't say. Go for it.
But I was. Mom had me go to that private school with the Smoots. Junior
Cardinal.
Academy. And the Smoots had an old Ford rounded. I mean, it was ancient, 50-something. It was old. And had a hole in the floor, literally. I remember watching the road go by. That is the same car, by the way, as we're driving down 7th East and Joan is driving. And all of a sudden the car shudders violently like she's hitting the brakes like this. I thought, what on earth? And she said a mild swear word, and I looked out the back window and there's bits and pieces of metal all over the road. I have no idea.
Or the transmission.
Probably the transmission, and it just, I remember that shook. What is, anyway. Fun with Smoots.
It's like when Barney Fife's driving that car and the steering wheel comes up, haven't you seen that?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So then these two are partly for you and partly for everybody. Sayings of Grandpa, but then it's been requested that you do some of your mimics of my grandpa.
See what you made me do. Mormon, Alan, Boob, look for prayers.
That's right.
Yes.
Where are some of the rest of them?
Who will be the next one
Who'll
kneeling
be
down?
the next one kneeling
Kneeling
down?
down. Oh, yeah.
While I'm
Don't
away,
use
I'll declare a
that
holiday.
vulgar term if you say ain't. Don't use that vulgar term.
Grand, glorious, marvelous. What an accomplishment.
Keep things down to a maximum. While I'm away, I'll declare a holiday.
Holiday.
Where's my Dickie Brewer's yeast?
You remember that?
Yes.
Oh, Rodale, you've done it again.
Yeah.
The Kaiser with the visor.
Which car are we taking?
There has to be more.
Who did the buttermilk challenge?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Oh,
Well, he would.
because he liked it.
I remember him. He always wanted us to drink buttermilk, and he would give you a little bit of money, a nickel or something, if you'd have some.
He offered me a silver dollar.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said,
No. And this was because Dad would reserve this endorsement for the boys in the house.
It'll put hair on your chest.
And one time he said that to Anne. And I remember I was there. He says to Anne,
It'll put hair on your chest.
and Eric thought that was so funny. He couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, Anne. She's not going to get hair on her chest. Let's see.
Then you always try to get, when Sherman was, getting married late, or didn't get married till he was later, we'd always try and get girls lined
What
up.
about her?
There's no flies on that girl.
There's no flies on that.
That was the language, no flies.
That's okay, let me see if...
I should hope to shout.
Oh, yes.
I'm wasting away to a shadow. I'm becoming a pot-bellied slog.
Yep.
everything's under control. I think we got that. Oh,
Now, why didn't I think of that? I can see your gums moving, but I can't quite make out what you're saying.
I still use that one.
Or in other words, what Grace would say.
Oh, yes!
Yes.
You know
can't
what I
believe
mean?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean, Johnny?
You know what I mean, Connie. You know what I mean.
Maybe I've got them all. Oh, he also said, polish it off. I mean, that was what he used. That was,
Oh, yeah.
finish it off.
Tell me a story about Eric.
There was one about that gone goose. What was the
Dead
rest of it?
Gone Goose, I don't know that. I don't know.
How would you say it? What was it?
That gone goose. And there was more to it. I don't remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
When he gave me a ride to high school on very rare occasions, if it was during when the cherry trees, we had cherries in our backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd
we
be
had a
driving.
cherry tree.
Yeah, but I mean, so he's eating cherries.
Spit them out the window?
Yeah, he's driving down the window and going down
Eat B Street?
Second Avenue.
Oh, second
Avenue.
I got it.
And he rolls the window down. But he's still driving. It doesn't. He's spitting them out the window, and all of my friends are not. The friends that were riding with us, like Becky Willis or somebody, you know.
Oh, you poor thing.
I said, okay,
That's my dad.
that's my dad.
There was, I'm glad Karen reminded me because of a group of maybe 10 of us, 8 to 10 of us, group of friends were at 8th Avenue and A Street. Summertime, sun's going down, getting late, getting dark, and we see this man approaching on 8th Avenue on the north side of the street coming westbound. And Eric is the first to notice this man. And he's looking in the dark and he's looking over at this man approaching and he says, who's that guy over there? Then one of the other friends, I can't remember, I think it was Andy Burton, says, Eric, that's your dad. Because he was wearing his hat and his pajamas and his slippers out to retrieve his sons.
Eric and Ben, your boys come home now.
Anyway.
Tell them about your dad and the police and the hat.
I don't remember that.
He was,
Soliciting.
I don't know
out
if
in
he
Sugar
told it
House.
to me or what it
He was
was.
in Sugar House soliciting and had a hat on.
Yeah, and there'd been a robbery in the area.
Bank.
Wow.
And the police stopped him. And they were doing a cursory search, so they asked for his hat. And so then they asked him for his name. Well, there was a name in the hat that was not his name.
The DI.
So the police thought that he was giving them a false name. And they finally asked him, says, well, what's this name in the hat? And he says, oh, that's just a hat I bought at the DI.
They were ready to hook him up. He's a bad bank robber.
Okay. Oh,
What
keep
else?
going.
Oh, just that
Keep going.
one about your mom. The first time I came home with Sally,
Oh,
she told Sally, what was it? What's that
That-
bull in the china?
Yeah, he stomps through the house like an elephant. What's he doing? Do you remember it differently?
he came and he's so tall and he's like, you've got your fatigues on and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and big boots, and this is a giant.
You've never seen anybody like him. Never. Well, you know the first letter I got from him, 6'4", blow. He's too tall for me. I'll just write to him. I'll just be nice to him, but I'll never marry him.
Married?
52 years ago.
Wow.
Okay. There's a or it says, what vacation did you take where the whole family went?
Disney.
Right.
Our honeymoon.
Yellowstone.
Oh, that's
Oh no, you didn't take Sally to Yellowstone because who was it that told her the bears were
Sherman
gonna
and
get
Tom
her?
told me the bears were going to get me, so I got the suitcase, hopped out of the car, went back in the house with Grandma Williams. I didn't get to go to
I
Yellowstone.
didn't get to go to Disneyland. 'cause
We went to Disneyland, but you were too young.
I was too young to go to Disneyland. I had to stay with Grandma.
How old were
Williams.
you when you got lost?
So did all of us go to
Six.
California,
Six.
to Nevada?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
the whole
I-
family
I
went to
mean,
Nevada.
I think that is the only family
Oh,
trip we
that's
took together.
I
And
stayed
we got
with-
pictures of it, remember?
Yes.
That was the wedding reception we had in
Yes.
California.
Yeah.
We were going to go over the border into Mexico,
To Tijuana.
Tijuana, Mexico. And she was talking to one of the people at the hotel, a worker at the hotel, whatever. Keep an eye on that little blonde. They will be after her. And then we get down there and Tijuana, whatever. Where's she? We can't find her. Oh, that was the most horrifying thing. But we got you.
I was never afraid. I was looking at a postcard carousel.
Well,
know.
you knew where you were, so to speak.
Yeah.
But we didn't know where you were, and we were hysterical.
But I never felt
At
afraid.
risk.
No.
We lost Aaron that way in Chula Vista, right there on the border of San Diego, and we couldn't find the little blonde, blue-eyed little towhead or whatever. I guess he didn't have blue eyes, but he was blonde. And we lost him for a couple hours, and he was just visiting the neighbors.
Hours?
It was in a
This was minutes.
it was in a trailer park.
Oh, my
And he just gone to visit.
You did come to
sketchy.
your folks in
I just thought
Novato.
for sure Aaron was
Yes,
gone,
yes.
because I can't imagine.
Yeah,
It was our honeymoon.
yeah.
And I can still, Anna, she banged on the wall. But the kitchen wasn't the bedroom next to a kitchen, like the wall itself.
I don't even remember
She
that.
would bang on
In Novato.
in Novato.
Yes, yes.
She did, right?
Yes.
I thought, then when we went, sometime your dad brought home a big case of seconds of Twinkies.
Oh, the Twinkies.
And it was huge, just full of these that didn't make it through because they weren't wrapped right or something. But
They
that
were
was
pulled off the line.
Yeah.
Because they weren't perfect.
And that was his job. Jobber taking the stuff around to the stores. Well, at the end of the day, when they've got the stuff, just take it home. You want it? Yeah, I got a house full of people. I'll take it.
Yeah. Your parents were very kind in opening up their home.
Okay.
And it was awesome.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm not the moderator. Forgive me.
Oh, please, go for it.
I don't know if it was because I was the youngest and Mom was able to do this because she didn't have the workload of all these kids assisted by her.
And
Her
in
slave.
command.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would get letters from Mom commonly and lunch that she made me, and
Oh.
this is later on in life.
Okay, so you're a
and-
grown up.
Yeah, but they were common, weren't they, Karen? And anybody else get that prized treatment from their mother?
Just during the mission.
Yeah. It was, wow, okay, it was just, finally, Mom had the time, so she would write me letters and put them in my lunch.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Did you
Wow.
keep them?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah, we got them. Oh, we know who Sherman was named after. Uncle, Grandma, Grandpa, all read.
Sherman.
Sherman. Do
All
you know
read.
who you were named after? Or
The
was
mi-
there no named after?
You were named her. She's Nancy Catherine. So
Oh,
Grandma
a doll. You've got the doll in your cedar chest.
And it was a Nancy doll?
Do you have
Yeah.
Mother's cedar chest?
Thank you for knowing that. Stephanie gets the
Yes,
prize.
do you have the cedar chest?
The Tony doll?
Okay.
The cedar chest with that doll in it in
And
a
I forgot
green
that her name
dress
was Catherine. So.
with red hair.
Yes.
I've never seen
Okay,
it.
that doll's name was Nancy.
I don't remember that.
I
Oh,
don't.
I know that doll very well. I can see
I've
her.
never seen it.
And,
No.
okay.
And
And
her
so-
name was Nancy, and so she said she named me after that doll.
So Nancy Catherine. So the doll and your grandmother. Okay. John Thomas, we all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, will you please give us your full name?
Sally Christine Vance, Munson, Anderson, Erickson, Decker,
Decker,
Randy, Pugh, Corliss, Clausen, Allred, Little, Williams.
Thank
He
you.
would do that to everybody.
Now, Sally Christine, do you know what significance, where that came from?
Annie Christina, because I think that was Grandma Allred's mother's name.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's where the Christine came from. Because when I named Christine, because my middle name, and I named her Christine Ann, and she looked at me, and she said, that was my mother's name, except for Annie Christina.
Beautiful.
So yes, I do know. We know.
You're after Mom, but where does Ann come from?
They just started up.
So it just went well with it.
But aren't you Marjorie Ann?
I'm Marjorie Ann, but I promised myself I would never do that to my children because when you come to legal, like if you fill out
You
legal.
know by two names.
Yeah, and I prefer Ann, and so you always, and so they go, is this
Well, I
Marjorie?
know-
No, I go by Ann, But I'm not saying it's terrible, but
Yeah.
it's confusing.
Uh-huh.
So I said, the children will be going by their first name.
Well, I argued against my mother when she did that. I argued and argued and argued, but I lost.
Well, it must be popular because Dee and Elgin, Bradley Elgin,
I didn't know that when I was a
and
kid.
Dee is his middle name.
Malin, what's its first name, Malin?
Malin
Malin
I
Dee.
don't know that either.
See, it must have been
Didn't
a
know it.
trend.
Yeah. So you were never addressed as Marjorie, were you?
No, except the only time I started getting addressed as it, when I got to high school and you had to fill out first name, then I'd have to tell the teacher, no, I go by Ann. So
Couldn't you just put M?
I tried that, but
They wanted it all.
they want,
I'm remembering something, maybe you'll help me. Mother said that somebody called her Sally. Maybe it was her dad. It was a nickname, and that the name was endeared to her, so,
That's true.
okay, alrighty.
That's true.
Okay, I did remember
I
it.
know that's true.
It just hit me, well,
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
true.
Yeah. And I can't wait to get to my name because I have a question for you. Tim. Okay, Timothy Mormon. Obviously, there's the Mormon, and this is, naming a child after a very good prophet. But how about Timothy? Do we know where that came from?
The only thing I can think of is the Timothy's in the scripture, the brother of Nephi, and
Oh, wonderful.
also in the Bible, the
First and Second Timothy, where he was
he was
a
working with
friend
Paul.
with Paul.
Yeah.
And he was
So-
the younger.
And the only thing that's the only thing I can think of is Dad's love for the Book of Mormon. That's the only thing I have no idea where my name came from.
Okay. And Eric Allen. Allen is after Mom's brother. Eric, they must have liked it. Is
like
that
a short for Erickson.
Well,
Erickson, a short for Erickson. Thank you. I
the
never knew that.
grandfather's names are Eric.
Wow.
This one,
They're in there.
Isn't it ERICK?
Well, see, you would always have an Eric, and then in Scandinavian, it would be Eric's son.
yeah, but their first name was Eric. But
Okay.
I think Eric Erickson is the one.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, you're all gonna pay
That
each other.
I've heard that name before too, but yeah. All right, Nancy, this one's for you. I had a conversation with you over 30 years ago, and it went something like this.
You're scaring me.
We were talking about my name, and I said, Mom told me that she named me after King Benjamin in the Book of Mormon. And you immediately objected and says, that's not true. She named you after Benjamin, the character Benjamin in the movie 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Are you vindicating that now? Is that truth?
It still is.
Yay! She knows.
Still is.
I'm going for the King
Benjamin,
Benjamin.
Caleb. I can't do it
Now we
all.
can rest well tonight.
I went to that show at least 7 times.
Well, I'd be
And
tossing and turning all night if I had that question.
No wonder you haven't slept for 30 years.
You can finally sleep again.
I can rest.
But now we need nicknames. What nicknames did you
Were
guys?
there any nicknames employed? I mean, Mom called me Neb or Nebothy.
Burkwood.
Of course, Burkwood.
Sherman was Berkwood, yeah.
Okay.
And were there other, I think that.
I was Willie sometimes.
Really?
Some of my friends would call me Willie, short for Williams,
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
Willie.
Sally, no, they didn't call you anything.
She had
Nick?
one from high school.
Okay.
Thanks for remembering that.
Oh, sorry.
I was in the jazz band,
Oh, yes, you were.
and all my buddies in there, I just loved them, and I could sit and listen to them play their horns, do whatever, the drums, I'd love it. But they had to tease me.
Yes.
My nickname was the Troll. Because I'm under the bridge, gonna get them when they cross over the bridge. I don't know where they got it from. Oh, it's the Troll again. Always, every time the Troll's here now. We can start. That's
And
cute.
that way?
Yeah, good deal there.
I don't think I did have a nickname.
I did.
What?
Nanny goat.
Well, Oh,
That was
you
yours,
had a
Mom.
nickname.
That was
Oh,
yours.
I
No,
didn't.
What was Ann's?
We called your
No, she
car
had
an
none.
Annabelle. Do you remember?
Occasionally.
And he put Annabelle on the
On the car.
on the engine.
Remember the engine?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dad. I thought, no,
No.
Kirk, I remember. Yeah, Annabelle on the car.
Got
Yep.
it, we
That's right.
made, well, we had a car, she needed a car, so I rebuilt the engine, got it all going, and then it was a slant 6,
So on the valve
Dodge.
cover.
The valve.
about
Yep.
Plymouth
I
Valiant.
remember it.
And
Yes.
on it, had it inscribed Annabelle. She
Yes.
thought that was pretty cool.
It
That's,
was,
I
yeah.
remember
I
that. I had
remember
forgotten all
seeing
about that. I thought that, I loved it too. I thought, that was cool.
My nickname for you is Annie.
There.
Oh, yeah.
I've always, I
She
I
did,
call
you
Annie
did.
a lot.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's great. I mean,
love
I
it.
love it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, so yeah, Mormon, Alan, and Boob. I love
And Dad would always call me Mormon, and he always used second names, Alan.
Yep.
And
How many of you remember Dad saying? I remember it because I had to have heard it somewhere. Mormon, Alan, Boob,
Yes.
come for prayers.
Yes, I've
Oh,
heard
yes.
it dozens of times.
Okay, good.
Yes. And we'd be in the kitchen or we'd be
Yeah.
in where.
You really have to holler in that house because you couldn't get every corner.
And we were generally upstairs, so he would lean.
Yeah.
Mormon, Alan, Boob.
Yes, he would. Yep. I've heard that many times.
Okay, good.
Yep, yep.
That's good.
are we done? Is that all
Okay.
the questions?
I mean, there's always more questions, but we have to at least do these. So it's family traditions and or like a holiday standout memory. So either traditions you had growing up or holidays that stand out to you for.
Christmas Eve at Grandma and Grandpa Allred's house.
Yeah. When I was old enough to go.
Oh, that was fun.
The breakfast at Liberty Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Liberty Park was
yes.
good.
Memorial
The
Day
Fourth
breakfast.
of, the 4th of July Memorial.
Mhm.
That was fun.
Watching Grandma cook all that bacon.
Had
I
Lorna there
couldn't
taking
get that
pictures.
bacon at home, so I made sure I lined up for that
Yeah.
bacon.
I'm glad for the pictures we have of these events because
Mhm.
I don't remember any of this. So I love the pictures, so I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
I have a
Mhm.
picture of Mom and Dad that Cornell did. Norm Cornell,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the Joyce portraits.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that one.
Yeah. Traditions. My favorite. Dad brought home a turkey one year, and you know, Dad, this is, I say this, and you'll, oh yeah, of course Dad would do that. He brought home a turkey that still had feathers on it. And that thing was stunk. It was so foul.
Maybe it was roadkill.
And Mom dutifully pulled all those feathers out of it. And I thought, oh my God.
Oh, that's awful.
And it stunk.
They do.
Oh.
They really stink.
But I think my favorite Thanksgiving is the one I wasn't home for because I have a recording of it and I have almost memorized it. I listened to it so many times. And hearing Dad use the knife, the electric knife, and hearing Kirk tell this drawn out joke that was so choicely answered by Christine. He's talking about a corner canyon. There's a traffic light up there, and he says, and Kirk's telling this serious story. Everybody thinks it's a serious story. And so he says, they found a skeleton up there in Corner Canyon, sitting on a snowmobile. And finally, it took them a while to figure out what was going on, but there's a traffic light up, and there was some clown up there that was waiting for the traffic light to turn green. And so, he died on his, and it got no response from anyone in the room. Kirk finished that joke, and then Christine says, "Who? You? Was it you, Daddy?" And the whole room just burst out in laughter. So that was my Thanksgiving, my favorite Thanksgiving that I was in England for. So.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Okay. Any other traditions or holidays. We ready for another one? Memories of ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends.
Oh,
Any memories?
Oh, please, can I tell it?
Yes,
Oh, I love this story.
tell it, yeah.
Oh, was his name Richard? Was it Richard?
It was Jan.
Jan. Eric and I.
Richard too.
No, yeah.
The
Tell
Jan
the
bit.
Jan one first, and then we'll go to Richard.
Okay,
I
so
was around for Richard.
Sally and Kirk are living at B Street.
We've just been married a couple
Just-
of weeks.
Yeah, newlywed. And late one night, I don't know what's going on. The sun was down. Somebody comes to the front door, and Eric answers it. And Eric he understands the weirdness of what's going on. And so he goes to Mom and says, Mom, Jan's at the door. What should I do? Well, invite him in. Okay. So he invites him in, and I don't know. I went downstairs, and
You ran and hid.
did I? I was the one that came and told you, wasn't I? Yes. So
You
I
about fell down the stairs, too.
I came downstairs and said, Sally, Jan's here, and you smiled or whatever, and you grabbed Kirk and you said, okay. you went upstairs and with Kirk arm in arm or whatever, right next to him, and says, hi, Jan, this is my husband, Kirk.
He's kind of backing out. Oh, I wondered when I saw those wedding presents.
Now, I don't remember anything past that other than his embarrassment, and he left. Any verbiage? I mean, what did he say? What did you say?
No, but after I said that, he just looked around and he said, I wondered when I saw these wedding things
Okay,
here.
okay.
That's all he said.
And then he left.
Congrats, see you
And
later.
then when I told her parents, their parents, I said, yep, she had a backup in the wings.
That's funny.
Oh, that takes it. I can't think of any other stories. That was good.
That one's a good one.
And then there was the guy that stood you up at the temple. Was that Richard?
Richard,
Oh, that was horrifying.
when she was going to receive an endowment.
Yep,
Oh, that was so heartbreaking.
it was an awful day.
Oh. Oh, I cried and cried and cried and cried.
I'm glad.
Yes.
Who cried?
You and
Yes,
I'm sure, but I
yeah.
cried. I cried and cried.
Yeah.
I just.
Was-
I don't really even like him anyway.
He told you there, right?
And he said I couldn't get my recommend, so I can't go in. But he still didn't tell me he didn't want to marry me.
I didn't know that little detail.
And he came back later to the house, came up to the door.
Oh, yeah.
He said, Sally, I'd like to get my ring back.
I hope you said,
No, I said something really naughty. It starts with a chicken.
You big
good
chicken.
girl.
Yeah.
Chicken stuff.
You weren't getting that diamond back.
Good
No.
girl. Good girl.
So what'd you do with it?
I thought,
I kept it forever, and he and I used it for our wedding.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
he got the diamond, you kept
no,
the ring.
no, he
What'd
did.
you do with the diamond?
It's one of the earrings that I had made out of the.
Oh,
I've
okay.
still got it.
I
I've still
remember
got
the
ring.
setting,
I've still got the setting.
yeah, 'cause it was better, you got 3 generations.
What year would that have been?
68.
Okay, well, because I remember everything you're telling me is familiar.
June 8th, 1968.
I remember
And
everything.
then I
about
roped him
this
through
story.
the fall and into the kind of the winter a little bit. And then he told everybody at Vietnam, "Oh, that's my wife."
Okay,
That's
she sends me a picture of her in a wedding dress.
that's because it was the cutest picture I had.
No, the cutest picture was her in the little ski bunny outfit. That was the cutest picture.
Well, then why'd you keep the one in the wedding?
Well, I had them both. They were both there.
Depends on what side you slept on.
Jess remembers what Grandpa said.
Oh, because I've heard some of those recordings. We have a few of them.
Oh yes.
and I don't know who they were talking to, but your dad gets on and Marge is trying to help him, and he's like, simmer down, Grandma.
Oh,
I know
yes.
how to use this thing.
It's just, I know, yes, it was you guys had been at the house, and they're talking, and Mom says, you need to talk in the microphone. And I know, it's under control or something. Simmer down, Marge. Well, I'm just trying to, I know. Then he continues with his story.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Memories of the Wizard. I have no idea what that is.
I
Go
do.
for it.
Oh, yeah.
He had a
Kirk's got the story here.
He
Took
had a
rides in
motor
the-
bicycle.
Rides in the
JT
cemetery.
got it. I pulled it out of the house, out from underneath the front porch.
The dirt
There was a,
road.
Yes. the
Yeah.
dirt
well,
road.
you're the one that showed me. You and Eric showed
We
me
showed
where
it to
it
you.
was.
Yeah, the wizard.
Anyway, I get married, and of course I've got motorcycles, right? And so I asked Sally, I said, Sally, have you ridden a motorcycle? Yeah, my dad used to take me for rides all the
The
time.
cemetery on the Wizard.
And so I get on the motorcycle, whipping down the road. The first turn I make, she leans the other way.
Oh no.
And
When
this
you
was-
lean the other way, the motorcycle goes straight.
She was doing this.
And so I took my elbow and hit her to knock her to the same side I was on, and that's when all the get control of the bike again was. And I said, I thought you said you rode a motorcycle. Yeah, I did. My dad's a wizard. It's a wizard.
The motor bicycle.
So, anyway,
And we
so
were,
what I
yeah.
told her, I said, on the back of my helmet was a medallion or something. I told her, I said, see that right there? It says, if it goes that way, you go that way. If it goes that way, you go that way.
And
But
I
I'll
mean,
tell you,
that's
she's
it.
a master at
Yeah, they
riding
do
on the
much
back of
better
a
now.
motorcycle.
And we were on North Temple. It's when we'd gotten down, whatever that is, that I Street, whatever it is there at the
Okay.
red light.
Okay.
Turned on 7th East and he gunned it. And that's when I leaned the wrong way. And you don't accelerate when somebody on the back.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what a mess it
Oh,
causes.
yes. Oh.
It doesn't work. Okay. We think we probably start heading home.
I say it's.
Yep, if anyone needs to go, go. If we
Pardon?
want, if we need to go, we can wrap it up.
Yep.
We'll do part 2 coming
And
soon.
we've covered a pretty good chunk of everything.
That's good. Thank you.
God bless you all.
This is.
Thank you for all your.
Yeah. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Well, it's always been nice having you guys look up to me all these years. Oh, yeah.
Then I can go home and write that right off the record in time.
Do it. What's it say? You gonna hold it or? I think. You got it? No, that'll help a little bit. Because I want to be able to read it. That should help.
That just says the company that'll do all kinds of.
Okay.
But it's not part of the story.
It's not part of the,
It's not part of this.
no, this is just one out of many that you can get from the same company.
I want to read it, so send me a picture.
That's what I thought. I couldn't remember.
Wow.
I saw that, and I had a match on that.
Very good.
Pretty cool. I'll let you read that real quick. Sally just gotta get her medicine.
Yeah.
And the scariest thing your mom ever had happen to her life when I came home with her. She She couldn't figure me out at all.
I just couldn't. Here's this big green giant. I've never thought about it, but the family is so short. And so that was the first. I can still see him the first time I saw him. Holy cow, that guy's so tall. He's wearing army stuff and big boots. Yeah.
Enjoy it.
But we're glad you joined us.
I think your mom finally accepted me.
That's how it all came together anyway, you know?
Thank you, Lana.
You're so welcome.
Are you balanced enough?
Keep finding stuff to the eye, buddy.
I saw this last week, and yes, I'll see her at the DI quite often.
Here we are.
But when I saw this, I said, I don't know what it is, but I know the pattern, and it's got, I've done something I've never seen before.
Getting hooked on the outside.
I had devices that
That's the thing.
and it's very nice.
Right, like that.
And then you can hold it.
And then what you do, we can put one side, just pull it down and out, and then release it. Okay?
Well, that's cool.
But that is an earlier one, because they did, Mary Dunbar did
They did label it.
later on
Then I'll see.
for their,
We got everything there.
but, yeah, pie safe is what I do, cake safe is what I do.
Which is called, yeah.
There is so much more to the horse stories.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Never.
Thank you for
Oh, you go out with a necklace.
I love yours.
God,
That's part of
getting to the end of the trail, that's the problem.
When we see one with off the horse, just the horse standing on the body on the bottom, so you're done.
Say that again?
I say the rider will fall off the horse and will know you're done.
Yeah.
People the horse.
You knew when I retired, was off my horse at City Hall. Yeah, I got my final paycheck, got off my horse, and rode off literally into the section of the west. And I've got it all on video. They still talk about it. And I've been retired for 21 years.
Well, that's what I
They brought me back to life, and they flew me up the
We get ahead, you told them, can you just fly around and yes?
Is that your
I enjoyed being up there. It was fun. And I don't know if I necessarily told you, but I surely enjoyed this flying.
And when I got
It's a $5,000.
I was gonna say, it was an awful expensive ride.
I was in the air for about 10 minutes and it cost me $5,000. I'm glad that I'm alive. I really am. I'm blessed.
Four stakes in Lake and the Lake Point, or the Grantsville State, or whatever, Lake.
You're gonna bring Sally's Corvette, I couldn't get the darn thing out of
And then it started splitting up the other days.
I've gotta get on the internet and find out what's happened to us before there was something
Getting us
needed
all,
to
you know, all my
do.
stories.
They're building on the
Release.
mountains, they're building everywhere, on the train tracks.
Normally you just
Kind of
go
away
and
from
turn
this
it.
wild
You
scene.
can't
And
see
it's
better than I
literally
can.
exactly over there, and this year.
Gotta get on the internet.
Not anymore, sorry.
But it's on my side.
I think it's houses now are going
Favorite memories is
Out there.
I'm not much of a YouTuber guy. What I'll do is I'll put in the problem and then it'll come up with, I've got a video.
You got an extra million
Tiki Hut's here.
But I like the video better than I do the actual. I had to get a hood up. Friend of mine, he had cable over the hood. So I got on the internet, and remove this. I worked with the internet well, and anyways, this went through this whole big rigmarole. I actually did it. 2 hours
Like forever.
to release
I don't know if I'm ever gonna date him.
While I was at the interfender one.
Well, I guess it's because I like watching the videos around school and all that. I just have to be about myself.
Infinitely
I
compliment.
really am. I have my kids.
Rebuild,
I don't know, maybe someday I'll change.
This guy.
But right now, I guess I can.
They only have property around it.
Internet.
Out this land.
My life is really good.
They can't build
I'm in a
on
good
it.
place right now.
They're building now, so they just.
Someday, who knows?
Way out.
Corner building
And maybe
I've gotten a lot of good information off of this.
I'm trying to figure out things better. The future goes.
Sometimes
How long's your friend been single?
I'll just sit there and try to figure it out.
Is she divorced or is she?
With all the electronics they've got now.
He's tired of the church and tired of being married, and they're still friends, but they only have one boy. And they actually well, yeah, they've been married for quite a while.
So they adopted him quite late in life.
Okay, I was like,
Did you award?
well, we've been friends for, when I was in the primary, she was, when I was in primary, before Amy was born, she was a counselor in the primary. Then our words got separated.
You gotta be careful of buying stuff off the internet, especially a new car at a cheap price.
Broke up with him.
If a new car has ever been in any kind of
She's
flood, it's worse than, I remember that, any of the coast.
I remember
Have
that
a
with
female
salt
companion
water.
for a while, this
Any
woman.
flood, hurricane or
She loves to
something like that.
be around. How's Aaron?
Tornadoes are inland.
He's doing okay.
But those,
He's,
when they get flooded,
we're going down to Mandy's house. I'm going down there right
may
now.
not,
And
may
we'll
not
see
fail
him.
immediately, but
He's dating a gal now. I really think he wants to be married again. The gal he dated a couple
there
years
had
ago,
to
she
be,
decided
and I
she
don't
didn't want to get married
feel
again.
a lot.
That kind of broke his heart.
And,
He's dating another gal now.
oh, yes.
So I'm hoping it's,
Have you met her? Is she?
I haven't met her yet, but I've heard, he's talked about it a little bit. And great.
You don't ever
Hopefully
remember,
you can find somebody that you can
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Hopefully someday he'll want to get back into the church.
Don't like this.
First and foremost, I continue to love him, and that's the main
Yeah,
thing.
that's what you have to do.
Something he has to choose for himself. You can't force anybody. You gotta want it. Until you do, then it doesn't do you any good to, why aren't you? Doesn't do you any good at all.
got some,
Well, this has been great.
got some movies
Good to
that I
see
want
you.
to see, but I don't, do you have
Going well.
access to an 8mm?
Here's your shoulder.
Jess, it's always good to see you. Come over and she's always over now, putting the fire up.
Well, say hi to your kids when you see
I
them.
shall.
That's exciting.
For evidently, I guess you just reel it through or reels it through. And, it'll digitize. I should have bought one down and given it to you. If I see another one, I'll buy it and give it to you.
That's one of the rules.
Yeah, I've got all my.
I gotcha. Okay. Thanks,
Thanks,
moderator. And then I'm gonna run into somebody else. Thank you for. Well, I better get out of the road. Okay, thank you. Off we go. Thank you, girls.
Always a party.
Yeah.
You guys did it mostly.
Good to see you.
Wow.
Well.
You remember us calling you General Ben? One of your nicknames.
There you go, Ben. Oh.
working on.
was nice.
I'll text it to you.
Very nice.
Very nice.
B,
Yeah, you're welcome.
B, and that is it.
AW.
I loved it. I loved your
Your
my mom's
I
Beagle.
love Gmail.
Oh, we're having a good
It
time.
was so
So
easy.
fun.
Okay, B and AW421
What is
@gmail.com.
that back and enjoyed it?
I wanna ask you a question.
I can do that. Ben AW. What's the
Maybe those kids.
Oh, really?
Okay, I was
Again.
like, I put AW in all my stuff, but that's my name.
This was this one. This was
That's right, we just knew.
Take me to the dirt.
I always joke
A little bit.
Let's bring that back
Because I'm
again.
the middle name. Oh, yeah. So
It would
AW.
have been that way.
That's pretty funny. though.
Means that, you
I'm
know.
sorry, especially when you're the
Oh,
oldest
yeah.
kid, a girl,
Yeah.
and take care of the family. If it was a boy, then it would be dropped to the next, the first girl. 'cause the boy
It's funny
usually-
because I work for a
And
lady.
Mike,
that do
yeah, he
respite
took care of the
with
kids.
And she always goes, how do you text so
Oh,
fast?
he was so good.
It's just it. I don't know any different.
And because I love my
I
brother so
usually do
much.
the swipe.
What are we looking at?
He was giving me his email, but now he's watching me
Diane.
text because.
He was 8 years old, basically,
Mikey,
you know,
can't
and
thank you enough.
protecting
Yeah,
her.
this
Most
was
excellent.
amazing.
Most
We
excellent.
go,
Um,
you know, and then.
Which, well, and I have
And
to
I
say,
said,
I went
well,
with the
then
impression
Diane
that
got
I'm only here when you
back
stop
to
talking.
the-
I wasn't like, which I think
Seems
is
like
beautifully. I was like, you go for it, people,
After
you
that,
talk.
If they're doing it, we just.
That's all we need, right? Right?
That's what a moderator does.
That's right.
Yeah, you
Probably
better
it's
go.
her car.
What?
The car's
Your
on-
dad's out there.
Is he ready?
He's wandering.
Does he know where the car is?
I don't know, but he's
Yeah.
wandering.
Go stay
He's
out
out
there.
How do you know?
Oh.
Glad we're doing this then.
How is
Poor
he?
guy, he's,
I mean, I can hear him, and I know. How is he up here?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay.
it's an on and off moments, probably.
God, I just worry. Is this how your dad started?
Kind of.
No.
A
Well,
little bit.
Trouble walking, trouble talking. He's losing his ability to talk.
Oh.
No, his ability to walk around when we moved in here, he could walk anywhere.
Really?
He had to remember anything. He
yeah.
walked down the street by himself and had to find him.
That was.
And then we ended up having to put locks on the inside that had keys so he couldn't unlock the door, take all the knobs off the stove, so, cause he was turning the stuff on.
Yeah, so she
So,
was,
you know, and then he'd wander, and so we pulled all the furniture away from the wall, so he'd wander room for room
Is it?
around the basement. That's how, but we couldn't let him out, cause he'd just wander. One of the neighbors came down and said, "Are you looking for your dad?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, he's down 4 houses down, sitting on this porch down there." Cause he knew we had a porch, with bench, you know, so that's how we found him one day. And that was that point, we said, okay, we're locking the house up when he's in there, cause he just disappeared.
If you do care, that's technically
I-
not allowed. So if you want her to be at recess, okay. I was like, some parents don't
But
care.
he could walk.
If you,
if
if
she
you,
was
Speech. I mean, I noticed that the last time we gathered, I thought his
if it ever
speech
becomes a
is.
problem, you can just say, hey.
Going down very quickly. Sherman is.
Yeah, you can't articulate.
He can't articulate, he can't pronounce.
Just in case. I was like, that's
Yeah,
one that
and
in
it's-
first school, like the
It
teachers.
depends on the time of day. It's sometimes better in the morning when
Which I
he's
agree,
rested,
but when she's happy.
but when he's tired. So he doesn't talk very much.
Is, then he must be aware. If
Yeah,
he's- if he's-
he aware of his speech going bad, yeah. But his brain, I mean, sometimes you think he's just perfectly normal, and other times he does ridiculously stupid things that I think, oh no. And so it's scary because he always wants to do something. Like the filter on the water filter that we have went out, needed to be replaced, you know, and so he decided to do it. It just scares me to death because you never know when he's gonna be confused and when he's not gonna be confused. If he's not confused, he's fine, but he gets confused so easily. And I mean, yesterday, you know, this was our fast Sunday, so we had to fast. And we didn't have to, but we fasted. Anyway, yesterday, we had some food from Cafe Rio, and he didn't eat all his, so he saved it on the table. And later in the afternoon, I said, "Do you want to put it away? Put it in the fridge?" He said, "No, I'm saving it till tomorrow when I can eat. I'm going to eat it." Oh, well, we need to put it in the fridge, and we're going to have lunch tomorrow. We're going to eat together. You know, we're going to have a meal. And so I felt put it in the fridge. And today when we came over to church, he had it sitting out there.
It's a rough one.
And we always say
It's funny,
Corinthians.
because the kids get it.
And he said, give him here, we gotta have a blessing, I
But
gotta
then,
eat.
for some kids, it just doesn't.
I mean, it might not sound ridiculous to you, but it did. I mean, something's wrong. Yeah, I never know from one minute to the next. One minute, he seems perfectly normal,
So
and
do
I
they
can
say,
tell
is it
him
like, if
something,
they send home
and
books
he'll
or you read
remember
books?
it, and the next minute I can tell him something, and he won't remember it for even 30 seconds, and he gets confused, and I just, oh, please help me to know what's going on. I don't know what to do.
That's what I tell my kids, it's like, that's
Measure
all
of
skill.
safety, you
And like,
become
she at least, if the
Yeah.
book's there,
That's good.
Yeah.
the words that
So
she'll
far,
say,
yes.
she's associated
He-
word, yeah.
He
She'll
does
see
get
it.
confused if
So that's still
sometimes about where he's at or whatever,
And she's
but not
trying
very
to-
often.
it's not the
So
kids
he
where you're
hasn't gone out and done this
read this book with me.
He wears his pajamas all
That's
the
most
time,
of the
but
kids.
he's been doing that for a couple of years.
I would too be.
But I don't know what to do. It just scares me to death. I just don't know. You know, I'm scared to leave him alone for very long because of what he'll do.
All my kids too, because they're those, like, you just read
Anyway,
with them,
I'm
whatever
sorry.
you, whatever
No,
that is,
we
for you,
want-
that's
we
just
want to
saying,
know.
saying, make up words, yeah.
It's sad
But it helps them
because
too.
he wasn't like this before. I mean, he's really changed, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know all the things, but I do
And you know
know
what I
some things.
determined, what I think I determined is when Lisa was in high school, her senior year of high school, he would go take her to lunch quite often because she didn't have any friends and nobody to eat lunch with, so he would go take her to lunch. And one day he called me at work
Oh, I have parents of third
and
graders,
he had
so I
just
called
dropped
them,
Lisa
like,
off
hey,
at
we
school.
need to go over the
And he
ID
said, I
class.
think I just
What
had a
do you wanna
stroke.
do? And then parents
And
are like, oh.
he said something really weird happened to me after Lisa got out of the car. But then he seemed to be okay, and I don't even know if we ever talked about it again, maybe we did, but I didn't really worry about it or think anything about it, because things seem to be pretty normal. But now as I look back, he has really changed over the past 10, 15 years. And I can see that there was changes going downhill all that time.
He's having a little stroke.
Even though it hasn't been serious so much that you'd really notice it too much, but, I mean, as I think back about it, there really has been changes, so I think he might have had a stroke or something that day.
He could still be having small strokes. Just not, they're not noticeable because they're not debilitating, they can't do anything. But now it's getting to the point to make sense. That's why it's slowing down.
It could be. When we talked to the doctor last fall, when we went in for an appointment checkup, she said that she thought he was developing some kind of Alzheimer's. But I don't know. I mean, I suppose we could have him check and see if he's had a stroke. Because we told her we thought he would have one. But, and maybe you should. I don't know what to do. What do you do? I don't know. And I just feel so badly because, I mean, he doesn't talk to anybody ever because he's so worried about his speech. We had company, you know, my niece came over last Sunday, with her family, and she was over there for a couple of hours and he never said one word the whole time. Because he's so worried about his speech, because if it's slurred, you can't hardly understand him.
Did they use grips to do
I don't understand a lot that he says to me. I have to keep him asking him to repeat it because I don't understand. And
Yeah.
anyway,
Teaching kids, is that?
oh yeah, I mean, he is so
So I
frustrated.
know that
So in his
there's
mind,
ways to
he's
teach them
probably
and I do
alert,
that, but
just
it's like,
physically, he can't get it out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going
Kind of
on.
like a child,
Pretty good.
you know, you're trying to explain something and you can't
okay, yeah.
get it out. And it's frustrating because they know what you want. And,
They know exactly what they want, we can't tell you.
yeah.
It sounds like where he's at. He knows what he wants, he just can't tell you.
It might be.
I'm wondering, you could still write. Maybe if you have, you know, say,
At least she does.
if you want to really explain something, maybe write a little bit more and then let's discuss it or something. But is he in speech therapy now? Or I know he was on therapy for his balance, but
He went to speech therapy for
I mean, that's,
a year, a couple of years, but then he didn't continue the exercises. But
at least she understands.
was he just extremely emotional when he was trying to talk? I think he was crying with emotion, trying to say some of his memories.
he's very, very, very emotional now. He cries at everything. I mean, a song comes on the radio and he starts crying, and he's very, very emotional. But your dad was that way too, right? At the end of his life.
Is he in the car?
Yeah, he's in the car.
Oh,
I'm probably asleep by the time he got
so what I was gonna say is, every time he sleep in the morning, you know, he used to get up all the time, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But now, if he's asleep, after I get up, I am so worried that I have to go in and check to make sure he's still, because I don't know. I mean, he just acts like he could die any second, and
Wow.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be
No,
unfair.
you got some release.
But, yeah, it's really scary because I don't know what's going on. And I don't know how to treat him, I don't know how to act, I don't know what to do. And, I mean, I go do my thing still, and I have lots of things to do, like doing this book, you know, I go in the computer room and work on this book for hours at a time, and I feel so bad because he's out there with nothing to do, and he's bored, and he wants some company, but I can't just sit there and watch him go downhill.
Does he like to do puzzles?
No, he doesn't like to do
Does
anything.
no
I'd
games
rather just sit there.
anymore?
That's why my dad is.
He'll play Scrabble and he'll play Ruby.
But he's not saying.
Oh, really cute, really? That's good. Yeah, and he's
Sits in his apartment.
But he really is such a good
They'll go to dinner or
unless
lunch
he's
or
wide awake,
something.
unless he's
They
just,
can't see well, they can't hear
unless
well,
he's
so
not
they come
tired.
down and get
Yeah,
him.
he's pretty good.
They do little lunch and come back, and then he just sits in chair all day.
It's just sad. The pain of getting old. Let's change it, not get old, okay?
Die and get resurrected, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be happy, we really want to be.
Yeah, have the Savior come, and then we can be twinkled in the nose.
Yeah, changing the tone,
Yeah,
whatever that is.
whatever. And then we don't have to get old.
What can I help you with, Mike?
Nothing, I'm good.
Okay. You know we're coming over to your house after this?
Yes, the kids are so excited.
Okay, good. Well, it's good being with you guys. This was really, really
I don't know how
fun
you keep it all
experience.
straight.
Really good. We need to do it.
Not right now, it doesn't.
There's so much that you guys can share.
It'll come.
So many memories that can be brought back by talking together. I love it.
Maybe it was good for Sherman to actually hear it.
It might have been, yeah.
I mean, he's tired, but maybe it sunk in that he's still present.
Does he, can he hear? Is that okay? Is his hearing okay?
No, he's losing his hearing too, but it's not that bad. I mean, he does have hearing aids, but he doesn't wear them.
Yeah.
I mean, I get a little bit frustrated because we went to therapy for his speaking, for his voice, for probably 2 years. Every month or, well, for weeks, for a while, and then it, anyway. He did all that therapy, and then after, he never ever did his exercises, and so it's gone back. And so then we went to physical therapy for his legs so he could walk.
When it happened and I was here.
We did it for 10 visits, and then he was doing pretty good. He doesn't do his exercises, so he's back to not being able to walk.
Kind of
I have
shuffle.
a sprinkler head.
So I don't know, and I hate to push him, I hate to force him to do things, you know.
Well, would he work, would he walk with the cane? Would he take the cane just for balance?
Well, he does have a
Walking
long
stick?
umbrella, you know, the long umbrellas, and he uses that as a cane sometimes.
You gotta
And
just
so
get
we've
him one of
talked
those
about
little
it,
tripods.
Oh, okay.
You just stand there, he's not holding them.
You know, even to make it even nicer for him to think that it's not really a cane, you know, those decorated wood ones.
Yeah, you can get a walking stick.
Yeah, walking stick, you know, that's really decorated, that
Looks cool.
kind of cool, you know, this is cool.
You might be up for that. Have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Maybe I should get him one for Christmas.
There you go.
House flooded.
Instead of cane, you just give yourself some kind of
you wear
fancy.
Yes,
Yep,
exactly.
yep, all my.
Yeah, cause those
Yeah.
are pretty cool, I wouldn't
That's
mind them
what the
myself.
one really big one
I made one. I still have it out in the garage.
Okay.
Oh,
When
really?
I was at Wood Badge
Oh, okay.
and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Mike's been to Wood Badge, missed Diane's wedding.
For Wood Badge?
For a wood bat? Really?
What was it, a wedding or ceiling or?
What?
When you went to Wood Badge, who's?
Oh, wood badge, yeah, for Diane's wedding. Yeah, I
Her
missed it.
wedding or her ceiling?
Her ceiling, yeah.
Was it ceiling?
Yeah, I didn't go, I stayed. They were very, yeah, this is the most important thing.
And now that doesn't even exist.
Well, I guess the
There's no such
ceiling.
thing as wood.
ceiling
I
is
did
right.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I don't, it's use it.
Well, we love you guys, and I'll go, so he
Okay,
can go home
take
and go to
care.
bed.
Well, be safe. Good to see all everybody.
Thanks.
Forever since we've been together.
Karen, I think,
Sweaty.
would you just hand me my water bottle? Please and thank you.
And you're
Almost
welcome.
left without it.
Oh, that would be
Heaven
terrible.
forbid, right?
Yeah.
It's my lifeline now.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
did you get whatever the accomplished wood badge part? I don't even remember what it was.
Thank
Did I
you.
get my beads?
Yes,
So
your
many
beads. Oh,
good
good job.
memories.
Yeah, I got it.
After that,
Yeah, I was
Thanks
elected.
again. Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, I gotta come give you a
Oh,
hug too.
see, I was
Good to
too.
see you
And then
guys.
all
I
of
know,
us
it's kind of like.
Yeah.
And then the one gal was in.
Right, right.
Did I, okay, next question.
You guys got it.
Well, it was
You-
hard, because you were so sweet, and you're kind of like,
Well, especially when it's my answer.
So they put
I'm
her
like,
on
I don't
patrol
normally
next
have
to
this
a
kind of position,
restaurant.
right?
We took
I'm not
her
normally
to
with this,
Tracy.
I'm normally the hey, like, just tell me whatever
We
you
just
want.
I kind of like,
stayed one
I
night.
didn't even thought, especially when we were talking about that antique thing forever, I'm thinking, I mean, that's.
That could be a conversation for another time.
That's conversation for somewhere else.
Her name was Barbie.
Barbie.
It's hard to moderate, and
Yes,
She got it, everybody got her beads the same night. We went out and
Oh,
ate
that's
her.
awesome.
yes.
Our,
Always.
the gal that was our leader,
really, you're
she lived in Tooele, so we had about there.
Thank you. Right. I'm glad it comes out.
It does,
Yeah.
it's just
Good.
What animal are you?
I learned from the best. I can't say being in the, like, seriously,
Yeah, I'm a
I always
beaver.
forget till I'm.
Did they, and I'm sure they model a lot of the same things when they had us do this competition.
I feel like one of the most blessed people to have people believe in you. It's like, and I'm in no way perfection, like I don't, and I don't describe it, but like, there's so much
They had us in
love
this
and
big
spirit and knowledge and
room.
like.
We were up in Park City
it's
somewhere.
huge.
They had us in this room, and they had it where
And it's gone on for generations, which is amazing, because a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
So true.
we, like, the owls were so mad at the eagles. I hate those guys. And their whole purpose was to get us heated. But they didn't do it. Anyway, after it had ended, they showed us, and we're like, oh, we act like morons. Like, it was a team building thing.
Right, we did that, but we didn't, we had a competition, but never had
I
any.
have that whole,
I was freaking out.
You gotta start beating on each
And it's so weird, the guy from the Eagles, I went out to a baptism tour, he was a bishop out there. But it was kind of fun, he's like, do you remember that guy? Oh yeah, that's so crazy. He's like, we hated you guys and you hated us. And I'm a bishop. It was good, I like it.
I enjoyed the wood badge. I remember on my ticket, the Phil helped fill my ticket to get, so I could keep my beads. They used to do the big jamboree up in Park City, up the big field there. We had to set up our unit up there, so we did the big archway and all that stuff. Part of that was part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
What was really funny is the night that the jamboree started.
I don't remember,
My
I
best
think
friend was
Nancy's the
down
only
here,
one that knew Grandpa Williams teaching.
and our wives, we went over to the hotel, slept in the hotel where everybody else camped out. And then the next morning we came, we were showering, and all these guys are climbing out of the chairs. One of our neighbors that was up the street here, he was with his kids, and his kid got sick that night. He came out, it was just smelling, he walked by, he just looked at us and shook his head.
So you knew him as
It was just hilarious.
I mean, not that I've talked to him a lot,
Because we went the day before
Sally
and
and I
set
would
it all
spend the
up,
night, and Grandma would
staked
get
it
up
out
and
so we
make
knew
breakfast,
where our
and
unit
go
was
to
supposed to be, and,
custodian at the church that's right
yeah, but
across.
we just stayed with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's still there on 39th South,
Went to
it's
dinner.
2030s.
building back there.
They first met.
That was the last year
the
they
wedding
actually
chapel,
used that big old
uh,
field out there before they started building all these things.
Reception
Park
center,
City
you
is so
know, on
changed.
Highland
Yeah,
Drive.
yeah.
I
You've been there.
probably
So,
was.
but it was
Yes,
fun. I mean, I enjoyed it.
On the west side of the
Got along
street?
with it,
Yes,
really fun.
yes. on
I don't miss
Highland.
the Scott.
And then they
Not
moved
a
to
bit.
a brand new
Do
one
not miss
on
Not a
39th
bit.
South
I remember
about
being in it, and
maybe
my boss at work, he's, at the time, he's a
16th
bishop.
East or something, it's right
I
on
know he's
39th.
coming over.
And then they were in that one,
He's
and
like,
then
oh,
the
God, somebody
white
else
brick.
that hates it as much
He
as I
fell
do.
on
I'm like,
39th, almost to
I-
23rd on the
it's
north
just-
side.
I like what it is now, I like the more spiritual focus,
Yeah.
and it would, it drained oh, it's like, it's not good, but it's draining.
It is. Life out of it. Not for me.
My first camp out, I was in charge of food,
You can't
and
have
I'm
all
like
distractions.
23,
And I
24
mean, like,
probably now.
you couldn't watch normal television.
I don't know. I didn't really do scouts growing up. She's like, buy $150 worth of food for like 4 kids and 3 adults, okay? So I bought all this food, brought it up in a cooler. It's December. Pull it out, it's all frozen. Cause I'm like, he's like, did it thaw out? I just bought the food. I didn't know how to prepare it. It was miserable. I never slept in the cold. So I'm bundled and I'm freezing, and then I wake up and one of the leaders I'm with, he's like, dude, you just sleep in your G's. And I was like, wait, what? That's a thing? I thought it was more layers. He's like, no, less layers. I don't know anything about scouting. Well, camp out scout a lot easier.
I wasn't in the scouting. The thing is, so I served in 3 different state presidencies, and I thought, third time, I thought, okay, I gotta learn the scouting. So that's when I took the badge, the whole thing. I said, okay, it's fun and all that stuff. Never really loved it. Still didn't after I got done.
I agree.
It's like, okay.
Look it up.
I don't get it.
I looked up his
But yet my friend, he was way into the scouting. That's the reason I got it, because he was the
If
president.
he knew that I was doing that, he would say, oh, it's just a
So, and they called me in to be in the state with him. Okay, I'm gonna learn it this time. So I took all the training and all that
And I knew it
stuff.
was.
Just never fell in love with it.
Yeah, no.
There's some, so Christine's husband,
Oh yeah.
he's still in.
He's still into it. It's amazing.
He is